All right, Glenn, you can start the meeting whenever you're ready.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Nevada State Board of Cosmetology's board meeting. Today is October 11th. The time is 9:01. I would like to start with roll call. Is it okay that we did the roll call with the board members, or we want to do another roll call and just in case another board member
Yes, we need to do
tuned in?
We need to do a roll call so we can have them officially logged in.
Okay, awesome. Can I have a roll call with board members, please?
Brian Baltazar, present.
Kai Stanton, present.
Board Member Anita Douglas.
Board Member Roxanne Harris.
Good morning, everyone. No other board members? Okay, can we have staff from the Southern Nevada staff please introduce themselves for roll call?
Gary Landry, Executive Director here.
Andrew Helms, Chief Financial Officer.
Leah Easter, Chief Compliance Officer. Lauren Gossage, Regulatory Compliance Specialist. Bertha Jackson, Service Specialist.
And
Maggie Adams. Sorry,
Maggie, go ahead.
Maggie Adams, Compliance Specialist.
And good morning, everyone. Justin Turuk, Deputy Attorney General, present. And also, I believe Chief Deputy Attorney General Rosalie Bordelove is also present via phone. She will be serving as board counsel for items E and F.
We have any board members? Good morning, everyone. We have any board members for the Northern Nevada office?
Rodney Moore, Inspector.
Michelle Fanning, Inspector.
Pamela Fitzgerald, Inspector.
Awesome. Okay, thank you. Now that we've had roll call, the mission of the Nevada State Board of Cosmetology is to protect the public health, safety, and welfare of those that obtain cosmetology related services through the delivery of quality testing, licensing, inspection, and education services that focus on consumer protection. Agenda item number C, any comments from anyone? We must limit our comments to 3 minutes or less, and you can comment on any item that is or is not on the agenda and is related to the Nevada State Board of Cosmetology. No action can be taken on the matter unless it's on the agenda. Do we have any comments from anyone that's on in the meeting today? So if you want to comment before the meeting starts, this is the time to actually comment. No comments? We're going to move to approval of minutes from previous meeting, July 12, 2021, Nevada Board of Cosmetology board meetings, September 9th, 2021, Nevada State Board of Cosmetology Law Review Subcommittee meetings, minutes, and our September 9th regular meeting. Can I get a motion to approve the previous minutes?
Brian Baltazar, I motion to approve the previous meeting's minutes.
This is Kai Stanton. I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We have complaints, agenda item E, Nevada Board of Cosmetology versus Taylor Summers, license number ST 1045605. Case number C-2021-0761. Is that Attorney General Bordelove is going to present that?
Madam Chair, this is Justin Turuk. Actually, I will be prosecuting the case, and then if you have any legal questions, Deputy Attorney Bordelove will serve as board counsel if I can't answer them.
Awesome. Okay.
I guess.
Go right ahead,
Thank you.
Attorney General.
Is Taylor Summers on the phone? I guess just to start it off.
I'm sorry, do we have Taylor Summers available today? Taylor Summers.
Taylor, if you're on the call, if you could unmute yourself and state an appearance, that would be great.
Do we have Taylor on the call?
Madam Chair, we're looking through the list of participants and it doesn't look like a Taylor Summers is on there. I can have Leah Easter testify that the notice and complaint were filed, and we can proceed as a default if you would like.
Okay, can we have Leah Easter sworn in, please?
Do you swear that you're gonna tell the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right.
Okay, go right ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Justin Trudeau, again, Deputy Attorney General, on behalf of the Executive Director. Before we proceed, I would just like to ask if we could have the 11 pages of exhibits entered as exhibits in this case.
Yes, go right ahead.
Okay, so Madam Chair, just for the record, so that they're duly admitted then, correct?
Duly admitted.
Okay, thank you. And just for the record, the 11 pages includes 4 pages of a document that's titled Test Sign In. The next 2 pages are Nevada State Board of Cosmetology Theory Test Results. 4 pages of screenshots of videos and a page that is entitled New Petition to Appear Before Board Petition to Appear Before the Board, that is dated May 26, 2021 at 12:56 p.m. All right, so I guess I'd like to call Miss Leah Easter to establish proper service of process. Ms. Easter, could you just state your name and spell it for the record, please?
Sure, Leah Easter, Leah Easter.
And what is your job duty, or job title, I'm sorry?
Chief Compliance Officer.
And what are some of your job duties as a chief compliance officer?
Oversee the inspection team. I help organize the board meetings.
Is one of your job duties also to mail notices of formal hearings for board meetings?
It is,
All right, how long have you been in this position?
over 4 years.
All right, and did you send a notice and complaint in this matter?
I did.
All right, and as part of the notice and complaint packet, did you include a copy of the 11 pages of exhibits that were just admitted?
I did.
All right, when did you send the notice and complaint in this matter?
July 27th, 2021.
And to what address did you send it?
Her last known address on file, which is a Las Vegas address, zip code 89131.
Okay, if you turn to page 9 of the complaint and notice of hearing in this matter, is that your signature on there?
It is.
And the page is entitled Certificate of Service, correct?
Correct.
And is that the address that you sent the notice, the complaint and notice of hearing to?
It is.
All right, and it says it was sent via regular mail and certified mail, correct?
That's correct.
And that's the tracking number for it.
That's correct.
Did you receive notification that Ms. Summers received the notice and complaint?
I did, per the certified tracking number. It was delivered on August 11th, 2021 at 10:43 a.m.
All right. After receiving notice that Ms. Summers received the notice and complaint, did you get any, did you talk to Ms. Summers saying that she wasn't going to approve it?
I have not heard from her.
All right, Madam Chair, at this time, I'd request that the board find that notice was properly given to Ms. Summers in this matter.
Yes.
Okay. As a result of that, I would like to begin the default of this case. Given that, I guess, Ms. Bordelove, did you want me to have the board vote and state that the notice was duly received, or did you want me to just proceed with?
Usually a vote's a little bit better if you can do that. If the board would like to take a vote, just essentially of the default to find that there was adequate legal notice and that she is not here. And then the board can proceed to take the facts as alleged as true if they so choose. But I think Justin will make a bit of a presentation as to what they are.
Okay, so I should call for a vote for the default, the approval of the board's registration to Taylor Summers?
The legal, yes, that she received legal notice of today's hearing.
Okay. I'd like to call for a motion to accept the state board's summons to Taylor Summers.
This is Kai Stanton.
Oh,
Go ahead. You're fine. Go ahead.
This is Board Member Douglas. I would like to accept Taylor Summers' summons that she received it.
This is Kai Stanton. I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
All right, thank you, board. So I'm just going to go through the factual allegations, just to state them on the record that are stated in the complaint. The first allegation under jurisdiction is respondent was at all relevant times mentioned in his complaint registered with the board as an esthetician student. As an esthetician student, respondent is subject to the jurisdiction of the board and the provisions of NRS Chapter 644A and NAC Chapter 644A. Pursuant to NRS 644A, the board is vested with the sole discretion to issue discipline for the practice of cosmetology, including esthetician students.
Recording in progress.
On or about September 18th. I'm sorry, if someone is not, they just put it on mute real quick because there's an echo.
Can we just double check and make sure that everybody has their phones on mute until your name or case is called, please?
Thank you. On or about September 18, 2018, respondent became a registered esthetician student with the board and was issued student number ST 1045605. I apologize, there's a scrivener's error on paragraph 5, under which she enrolled at Euphoria Institute. Upon information of release, respondent did not complete her course study at Euphoria Institute. On or about December 7, 2020, respondent became a registered esthetician with the board and was issued number ST 1045605, under which she enrolled at Avita Institute. Prior to obtaining a license to practice cosmetology from the board, a student must take and pass a practical hands-on exam as well as a written test that tests the student's knowledge on law, the law exam, and theory, the theory exam. Upon information and belief, Avita Institute proctored the student practical hands-on exam for respondent, which respondent passed on or about May 5th, 2021. Applicants for cosmetology licenses in the state of Nevada are able to take the law exam at the board's offices. Prior to sitting for the written exam, all testing candidates are instructed by board staff that they must store their small personal belongings such as communication devices, watches, large jewelry, sunglasses, paper, writing instruments, keys, gloves, etc. in small locked bags, and that all cell phones and smartwatches must be locked in the locked bags prior to testing. Respondent was scheduled to appear on May 26, 2021 at the board office in Las Vegas, Nevada, to sit for her theory exam beginning at 7 a.m. On May 26, 2021, prior to sitting for the theory exam, respondent checked in with board staff and was asked to put her cell phone on silent and place it in an orange lock bag to be locked by board staff. While respondent was taking her exam, respondent complied. Respondent completed her test and obtained a score of 61%, failing the exam. Respondent requested to retake the exam, pay the re-examination fee, and was scheduled to retake the exam the same day starting at 9 o'clock. Prior to sitting for the second written exam, respondent again checked in with board staff. Board staff asked respondent to place her phone in the locked bag before taking the examination. Respondent indicated that she had not had a cell phone on her person, and respondent was then seated to take the examination. While respondent was taking her examination, board staff believed that respondent was using her cell phone and attempted to secure the video camera footage The video camera footage confirmed that respondent was using her cell phone during the examination. On or about May 26, 2021, respondent submitted a petition to appear before the board wherein she admitted having and checking her phone while taking the examination. Violations, based off of those allegations, the executive director and board staff believe that respondent is subject to discipline before the board with pursuant to NRS 644A.850 subsection 1 subsection N for engaging in any unfair or unjust practices, methods, or dealings for misrepresenting her qualifications when she attempted to obtain a passing score on the theory exam by utilizing her cell phone while taking the May 26, 2021 theory examination. At this time, board members, Madam Chair, we request that based off of the default that factual allegations contained in paragraphs 1 through 17 have been found.
At this time, thank you, Attorney General Justin. My question to you, at this time, can I call for any comments by any of the board members? Any questions?
You may, Madam Chair. If there's any questions for the board, I apologize. They can feel free to ask me any questions.
Okay, is there any questions from any of the board members regarding Taylor Summers? Well, I have a question. Did, and I don't know if this is for Leah or it's for maybe Bertha, I'm not quite sure, but did Taylor, did she get licensed?
This is Bertha Jackson. No, she was not licensed. She wasn't given the license. So when we suspected that she was on her phone, we were having trouble pulling up the score sheets. So we just told her that we would call her as soon as they came in. When we reviewed and her score sheets came in, we noticed the score had significantly gone up. And then that's when we were able to review the footage and found that she was on her cell phone. So we did not issue her a license.
Okay, that was one of my questions.
I'm sorry, Madam Chair, just for the record, if we could just have Bertha Jackson sworn in.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Can we swear Bertha in, please, Gary?
Sure. Do you swear that the testimony you're giving today is the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And just for the record, Ms. Jackson, what is your title?
Lead service specialist.
Thank you.
Thank you. I apologize for that. Any other questions? I remember, this is maybe a comment. Can you refresh the board's memory? The last time we had this same incident that came before, I was thinking that we made it where it was some other type of disciplinary action besides the actual fine. What was that disciplinary action the last meeting, the last incident such as this one?
The last time this happened, it was the fine, and then there was she was asked to wait 6 months, and the fine had to be paid in full prior to scheduling to retest.
Okay. And the fine it's a $2,000 fine?
Last time it was, Madam Chair, I believe that I was going to ask Ms. Easter for the board's recommendation once the factual allegations had been voted that they were found.
Okay. So if there's not any other questions, are there any other questions or comments before the board members before I call for a vote? Any questions or comments? No questions or comments? Okay, I would like to call for a motion to accept the factual information that was submitted by our Attorney General for Taylor Summers case. Taylor Summers case number C 2021-0761. I would like to call for a motion to accept.
This is Kai Stanton. I would like to make a motion to accept all the factual findings in case number C 2021-0761.
This board member Douglas, I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, board. Thank you, Madam Chair. At this time, I'd also like to request a motion that the violation in paragraph 18 as alleged in paragraph 18 of the complaint has also been found, specifically that respondent has engaged in any unfair or unjust practice, methods, or dealings for misrepresenting her qualifications when she attempted to attain a passing score on the theory exam by utilizing her phone while taking the May 26, 2021 theory exam pursuant to NRS 644A.850 sub 1 sub A.
I would like to call a motion to accept the alleged allegations for Taylor Summers. Case number C 2021-0761. Can we have a motion to accept the alleged allegations?
This is Board Member Douglas. Summer, is it Taylor?
That's correct, Member Douglas.
I'd like to accept the allegations against Summer Taylor's in C 2021-0761.
Can I call for,
This is Kai Stanton. I second that motion.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
All right, thank you, board. Thank you, Madam Chair. At this time, I'd like to request that Ms. Easter, Chief Compliance Coordinator, present the recommended discipline on behalf of the board.
Sure. I believe the board discipline, to be consistent with the last case we heard, is a fine of $2,000, which last time you voted to be paid prior to her resitting for her test, along with the legal fees in this matter. And costs, I'm sorry, legal fees and costs in the matter.
I would like to call for a motion to accept the board's recommendation for legal fees, cost, fine, and Summers will be able to take her exam after all fees are paid, 6 months after the fees are paid. Was that the same?
6 months.
It's 6 months after the fees were paid, right, Leah?
Yeah, if that's what if you want, that's true.
Yes. I would like to call for that motion. Can I would like for someone to call for that motion.
This is Kai Stanton. I'd like to make a motion for case number C 2021-0761 to accept the fees, costs, and findings that has accumulated for staff as well as legal fees, and to add on 6 months must go by before being able to retest, as well as all fees and fines paid.
Board members, I apologize. Before someone seconds that motion, I just want to put on the record, Ms. Easter, were the fines and costs reasonable and necessary in this matter?
Yes.
Okay, all right, sorry, Madam Chair, go ahead.
Okay, can you repeat that? I'm sorry, because we're gonna restate the motion. Can you repeat that, Attorney General Justin?
Sure, I just asked Ms. Easter whether she believed that the fees, the attorney's fees and costs were reasonable and necessary in this matter.
Okay. Can we restate the motion, please?
This is Kai Stanton. For the record, I would like to go ahead and ask for case number C 2021-076, accept the fees, costs, and fines not accumulated from attorney fees, as well as the fines given. This petitioner will not be able to retake the test until after 6 months and all fees and fines are paid in full.
And Member Stanton, the fine was $2,000, correct?
The fine, yes, $2,000 and plus the 6 months.
And plus the attorney's fees and costs. I apologize. Just want to make it clear for the record.
Yes, did I not state that clear before?
I didn't hear the 2,000 in this one, so I just wanted to.
Oh, you just wanted me to state dollar amount. Okay, sounds
Yes,
good.
Thank you.
Would you like me to restate that, or is that good?
That should be sufficient.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you, Member Stanton.
Can I get a second, please?
Board Member Douglas, I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, members of the board. Thank you, Madam Chair. I believe that concludes the complaint against Ms. Summers.
Thank you. So now we're going to agenda item number F is settlement agreements. Number one is Nevada Board of Cosmetology versus Ran Ann, license number U101557, case number C 2020-0640. Do we have Ran Ann available today?
Madam Chair, this is Justin Turing, just for the record. I believe when speaking with Ms. Easter that Ms. Ann and the other 3 individuals contacted the board offices and said that they would not be here, but they would wish for the settlements to proceed in the normal course.
Okay. So you want to go ahead and present their case?
If I could, Madam Chair.
Yes, you can. Go right ahead, Attorney General. Okay.
All right, good morning again, members of the board. Justin Theroux for the record in the case against Ran Ann, file number U101557, case C-2021-0640. Before the board is a settlement agreement. I'm not sure, Madam Chair, if you want me to go through the facts or if you want me to just, they're listed in the settlement agreement that the board members should receive, or if you want me to just state the terms of the settlement agreement on the record for you.
Well, it's already been stated what they've already agreed to the fines.
So the facts of the cases are of Miss Ann are found on page 1 through 3. I'm starting on page 2 of the settlement agreement, starts stipulated facts. So Miss Ann's been had the ability to review this and she's agreed to the facts. I'm not sure if you want me to state those on the record or just.
You don't have to. I don't think there's no need to state the facts since she's already agreed.
All right, so the primary terms of the settlement agreement then start on page 3. Primarily, it's that Ms. Ann agrees to voluntarily retract her reciprocity application to practice as an esthetician in Nevada, currently pending before the board. She also agrees she will not provide any services regulated by NRS Chapter 644A and NAEC Chapter 644A in the state of Nevada until such time that she is licensed by the board. She agrees to reimburse the board for its reasonable attorney's fees and costs expended in this matter. Board will provide respondent with the exact tally of its attorney's fees and costs expended within 15 days of the date of the board's order approving this agreement. The fees and costs may be paid by the respondent in payments, provided that the total amount is paid within 1 year from the date of the board's order. And then everything else is standard settlement agreement terms. If the board has any questions, feel free to ask me.
Any questions or comments for Justin from any of the board members? I have a question, a question for you. I'm not quite sure if it's for you, AG. I think it might be more for Leah. So this Ran Ann relinquished her reciprocity application. So she relinquished the application because of the circumstance. So now that if she's agreed to pay the settlement, will she be able to come back to after she completes her training? I'm not quite sure what the circumstances are coming back before the board for. I'm confused about what.
Yeah, so in typical process, the application she submitted with fraudulent credentials has been pulled. She's admitted to that, she's moved on, hence the settlement agreement. She will have the ability to go to a legitimately licensed school from beginning and get licensed as an esthetician should she so wish down the road. Of course, she would still have to pay the terms in the settlement agreement. And she obviously couldn't use her fraudulent reciprocity application after this. She would have to go to a legitimate school and start from the beginning. But yeah, we would not stop her from going to a legitimate school.
Okay, so I think my question, or maybe it's more of a comment to a concern. She pays the fine, which is probably nothing for her. I understand that, but I'm thinking on more of the terms of even coming into the office with the fraudulent information. It appears to me that there should be some type of stipulation in some type of time frame than just like you pay this fine, you go to school, you get licensed, you come back. Just from the facts of submitting documentations that's fraudulent is a concern for me. So there's no wait time. No, she just paid the fine, go to school and come back.
Right, there's no wait time at this point, but as a practical matter too, a lot of what happens is, I think every individual on this list will have a license that was suspect that will hold. And when they realize that we're holding them up, they will, in the meantime, go through a legitimate school here in Nevada. So many of these folks have already have a legitimate license. We're just kind of backtracking now and imposing discipline for when they try to become licensed with their fraudulent documents.
Okay.
So a lot of these folks aren't waiting to go to school. They've gone to school already, here in Nevada.
Okay. Okay, that was my question. Any other questions before we call for a motion? Any other questions or concerns from the board members before we move on? No questions. I would like to call for a motion to accept the settlement for Rand Ann, case number C 2020 dash is running into each other 0640. Can I call for a motion, please?
This is Kai Stanton. I would like to make a motion for case number C 2020-0640 to accept the findings case.
Can I get a second, please?
Brian Baltazar, I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, board. Thank you, Madam Chair.
So agenda item number under the settlements, number 2 is Nevada Board of Cosmetology versus Hong Dang. Case number 2020-013. Can you proceed, Attorney General?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Justin Taruk for the record. Again, board, I spoke with Ms. Easter again, and Mr. Dang will not be present, but has agreed to proceed with the presentation of the settlement agreement today. All board members should have before them a 7-page settlement agreement in order that was executed by Mr. Dang. The stipulated facts begin on page 2 of the settlement agreement and go on to page 3. The terms of the settlement agreement are as follows. Licensee agrees to voluntarily surrender the esthetician license number A-43273. He agrees to stop giving, providing, or exchanging any and all esthetician services regulated by NRS Chapter 644A and NAC Chapter 644A using the esthetician license number A-43273. Licensee agrees to reimburse the board for its reasonable attorney's fees and costs. The board will provide licensee with a exact tally of the attorney's fees and costs expanded within 15 days of the board's order. Again, licensee may make payments for this in monthly installments, but must be paid within 1 year from the date of the board's order approving the agreement. All other terms of the settlement are standard.
Any questions or comments from any other board members? I just had one more comment on that one, and probably I should have asked that earlier. Are we making sure that the fines are going to be paid before they're issued license?
Yes, that's one of
Director
the,
Landry?
yes, that's one of the stipulations that the board has placed on all of these, and that we've gone with the settlement agreement, is that the fees must be paid before any license would be issued. and they have to attend a school in Nevada, so that there's some of them that are not going to attend any school, they're going to move on, do something else. There may be some that are going to attend school, but the fees must be paid before we'll issue a license.
Okay, awesome. I'd like to call for a motion to accept the settlement.
Madam Chair, sorry, just before you
Okay,
call that vote, I believe member McCormick just joined the meeting, if she could just state her.
Board Member McCormick.
Yes.
Okay, we just want to say roll call for you.
Oh, I've been here since the beginning. I just found out you guys didn't hear me, but I'm sure. Yeah, I
Okay,
don't know if Leah saw me on the roll call, but I was on my cell phone. Sorry, guys, but I've been here.
Okay, I apologize.
Okay.
Just saw your name.
awesome. Okay. So can I call for a motion, please, to accept the settlement for case number C, case number C 2020-013, please?
Board Member Harris, I'm making a motion to accept the findings for case number C 2020-013.
Can I call for a second?
It's Board Member Douglas. I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Num-
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Number 3, settlement number 3, case number C 2021-0662 for Van Anhali. Did I pronounce that right?
It's as good as I might have said it myself.
Okay, go right ahead, Attorney General Justin.
Thank you. Good morning again, board members. Justin Taruk on behalf of Deputy Attorney General on behalf of the Executive Director. Before you is an 8-page document, settlement agreement in order with Van On Lee, license number N45311. On the settlement agreement in order, the stipulated facts begin on page 2, go on through page 4. The terms of the settlement are as follows. Licensee agrees to voluntary surrender of Nail Tech license number N45311. Licensee agrees to stop giving, providing, or exchanging any and all services regulated by NRS Chapter 644A and NAC Chapter 644A using Nail Tech license number N45311. Licensee agrees to reimburse the board for its reasonable attorney's fees and costs expended in this matter. Board will provide licensee with exact tally of its attorney's fees and costs expended within 15 days of the date of the order approving the agreement. Fees and costs may be paid by licensee in payments to the board, provided that the total amount is paid within 1 year from the date of the board's order approving this agreement. Again, all the other terms are standard settlement.
Okay. Any questions or comments from any of the board members? I would like to call for a motion to accept the settlement agreement from Van Anahali, case number C 2021-0662.
This is Board Member Douglas. I'd like to accept the settlement for the findings for case number C 2021-0662.
Can I get a second?
Board Member Harris, I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, board. Thank you, Madam Chair.
The 4th settlement for Nevada Board of Cosmetology versus Manha Kungli, case number 2021-0668. Go right ahead, Deputy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Justin Taruk again, on behalf of the Executive Director, in the matter of Man Kwang Lee, license number N45300. Before the board is an 8-page settlement agreement in order. Pursuant in this order is the stipulated facts begin on page 2 that go through page 4. The terms of the settlement are as follows. Licensee agrees to voluntary surrender of Nail Tech license number N45300. Licensee agrees to stop giving, providing, or exchanging any and all services regulated by NRS Chapter 644A and NAC Chapter 644A using the nail tech license number N45300. Licensee agrees to reimburse the board for its reasonable attorney's fees and costs expended in this matter. The board to provide the licensee with an exact tally of its attorney's fees and costs within 15 days of the date of the board's order approving the agreement. The fees and costs may be paid by licensee in payments to the board, provided that the total amount is due within 1 year from the order approving the agreement. Again, everything else is standard settlement.
Thank you. I would like, any other questions or comments for our Deputy Attorney General? No questions. I would like to call for a motion, please, to accept the settlement agreement for case number C 2021-0668.
This is Board Member Douglas. I'd like to accept the settlement for the findings of case number C 2021-0668.
Board Member
Can I get-
Harris, I second that motion. Sorry, Chair.
That's okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, members. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Ms. Borderlove, I believe, is free to go because I would be able to help you guys out with serving as board counsel for the remainder of the meeting. Ms. Borderlove, I appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Ms. Bordelon. Okay. Petition,
Yep, Board Member Bremo, petition number 1 has asked to be tabled, so you can move directly to number 2.
okay, so we don't have to call for a vote or anything?
Nope, you're fine for 1.
Okay. Petition number 2 is petitioner Bernice Herrera Chaidez and Victor Guerrera. Her license number, I don't know if it's license number, but it's U104697. I want to disclose that I do know Victor Guerrera and not the Bernice Herrera, so I'm not voting anyway. Is that going to be a problem?
No, it won't. What you'll have to do is turn over the meeting to Vice Chairman Brian Balthazar, and he will run this number 2. Then you can go back to running the meeting on number 3.
Okay, I would like to turn the meeting over to Vice Chair. Take it from the top.
Already,
Balthazar.
and already, and this is for Hong Dang.
No, it's petitioner number 2.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
For
It's Bernice Herrera. Uh-huh.
The petitioner is requesting the board accept hours from Mexico for licensing. Is Berenice Herrera Chaidez present?
Yes, I'm here. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Victor Guerrero too.
Already, do we have to have them sworn in?
Yes, yes, you do. Do you swear that the testimony you're going to give today is the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Yes, I do.
Okay, go right ahead, Ms. Herrera.
Well, I was wondering if I can have a translate to understand better.
Yes.
Is that what? I'm sorry.
I'm right here.
Victor, you will be acting.
Yes.
Mr. Guerrero.
If
Okay.
I'm allowed to speak on behalf of Bernice, I will more than happy to do it because I can explain to you better, probably.
Gary, is that permissible or
Yes.
does he have to? Okay.
Yes, it is. And as long as, Victor, did you say yes to the testimony being your truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, yes.
Very good. You can continue.
Okay, well, the reason why I get involved in this is regarding Berenice's training. And I would like to say thank you for the opportunity to present this matter to you. And I would like to start saying that in Mexico, the cosmetology career is what is the esthetician career right here, is meaning skincare. So on Berenice's certificate, I submit all that information to Miss Leah, translated also. Her certificate say that she got 2020 hours of training. So one of the board members accept only 940 hours. So for me, is like unfair because when I contact the school directly, I spoke with the director of education, Mr. Aaron, who is the owner of the school, and I spoke with Magella, he is the lead instructor, to verify her training, and I was find out about what cosmetology skin and cosmetology body means. So they were, explained to me that that is the body treatments that all the students they get in instruction in creating their own products and different body treatments in that area. So I asked her as a big favor if she can do the breakdown for the areas because well I don't know if all the members knows that in Mexico, we're not required to have a license. We can go to the school, the beauty school, but we are not request, to have a license to work. So in this case, the certificate, well, every single school in Mexico, they establish their own terminology. So in the paper that I submit to Ms. Leah, I put a note that not applicable to our curriculum. So if we remove the 580 hours from the training, I mean, the state board may recognize like 1440 hours easily, with the breakdown that I submit. You can see that all the breakdown match like 1,440 hours of training. So that is why I get involved, because 940 hours, I believe, so it's inappropriate, it's unfair. So the school is still open. I can provide all the documentation that I've been requesting to the school and to verify, and they were able to work with us in this matter. And that is why the breakdown, they have the same logo and the same sign signatures that the original um, certificate.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Guerrero. If we could hear from board staff on their position on this, unless either you or Berenice have any additional comments to make before I hear from board staff. Okay, seeing none. Board staff, I'm assuming.
Yes, Mr. Balthazar, this is Bertha Jackson, lead service specialist. We received Berenice's hours and her original application on May 6th. According to those hours, yes, the total amount came to 2,020 hours, but she was missing hours in hair removal, relaxers and perms, and she had no nail enhancement hours. After receiving that denial, we received messages via email, phone, and through our chat system from Mr. Guerrero, stating that he was able to reach out to the school and in Mexico and get a breakdown of hours from them based on a template that he provided to that school. When he submitted the new hours, there was a significant difference in the classes that were, the name of the classes or courses and the number of hours, they were changed around. The only two subjects that stayed the same were face makeup and facial and body cosmetology. Those actually ended up, the hours though, went down to about 20 hours in each category. So we kept that on record. And then in September, on the 30th, we received another transcript from Mr. Guerrero with the original documents that we had received from Bernice. And they had facial and cosmetology and body cosmetology crossed out with an NA next to it. And then the total completed hours listed next to it was, instead of 220, it was 1,440. So we've received 3 different documents or 3 different transcripts with different information on them, big discrepancies in the course names and the hours. The course itself, or the program that she took, was for styling and personal wellness. We don't issue licenses in personal wellness, so the category itself wouldn't, or the program itself would come in question as well. After looking at other documentations from previous applicants, we did notice that a lot of those hours come from the regulatory agency in Mexico, which is the Secretary of Education, Public Education. And her transcripts that were on all 3 transcripts that we received, they came directly from the salon or the school, not from the regulatory agency that is required according to NAC 644A 640, Section 3. So based off of all of this information, since she was missing hours, we were originally willing to give her 940, but at this point, I feel that the transcripts themselves should be in question, since they were changed throughout the last 2 months.
Okay, may I make a comment, please, to Ms. Bertha Jackson?
First, we need to ensure that staff doesn't have any additional comments. We'll give you a moment to be able to make answer to any of those claims, but I do want to allow for staff to finish saying what it is that they have to say.
Okay, thank you.
There is one last thing. I apologize. With transcripts that we had received previously, and I don't know if this will make a difference, but we originally denied applicants from Vietnam the opportunity to submit their hours because their hours weren't coming from a regulatory agency, and there were several discrepancies in the hours. So I do want to put that out there, and as well that in the past year, we've had 41 applications from out of country. 34 of them have been approved. 5 have had been issued letters of credit, and then 2 of them had discrepancies based on different types of documents that they were sending us, but they have since enrolled in the School of Cosmetology in Nevada to complete their training here.
Thank you. Alrighty, Mr. Guerrero, we'll go ahead and yield the floor to you if you'd like to make any comments on the information.
Yeah, I would like to apologize about the document that I submit. I just forward. When I spoke with the Director of Education, I request the breakdown, in order for the state board to be able to understand what is the training that she went on. So we have the color and hair transformation is when she get all the chemical waving relaxers and color and lighteners. So unfortunately, the certificate, and like I said, in Mexico is not requested to have a license. The document that I forward and create the discrepancy in between the original and when I spoke with the director about the breakdown of the training Well, probably he was confused, and it was my fault that I forward without checking the review first. So that is why when Ms. Leah answered my email, because I get some well, I asked her for some support. She told me about the discrepancy in between the certificate. So once again, in Mexico, we don't need a breakdown. And this academy is a private academy. Is not incorporated to the SEP, the General Education Secretary. So that is why they don't have the stamp from the SEP. Well, we call SEP. Um, so when Leah told me, well, the only reason we can review this matter is to get a petition and get the right document. So that is why I submit the petition to be in this meeting. And I was working with the school with the Mrs. Magella to create the breakdown properly without changing any hours, because the second document that I forward, it has a lot of discrepancy. Yeah, I understand when I open. Unfortunately, it was too late when I noticed the mistake, because they changed the hours in theory. Well, they did. They messed up the document. It was not the original idea. So we have time to speak and work together regarding the breakdown. And I was explaining to her, okay, and like the facial and body treatments, just break down what areas, what they were doing in that specific subject. So if you have in close to you the breakdown, in body facial care, they went over theory. Facial care is depilation. Well, that is a translation, but it's hair removal and body care. And then on hands and feet care, they went over theory, manicure, pedicure, body care, fingernails, and designs. The makeup, obviously, theory, and then they have, all that breakdown. It was more specific in order for you to understand Berenice's training. And the is my first time that I get involved in something like this, because according to I don't know if Miss Berta Jackson is put with one of the owner, or Mr. Aaron. He is the director of education. I know that she speaks Spanish, and she can be contact them to ask any question. I don't know if that is the verification, or in the way that you verify, or is based on another document basis.
Bertha Jackson here. So, Mr. Guerrero, we don't tend as a state agency to reach out to or make long distance calls to other schools in other countries. We go off of the regulatory agency's documents. And you had indicated that her school was not registered with SEP. But according to her transcripts, there is a registration number on there for SEP. So from what we have been able to make out with, and according to the website in Mexico, for SEP, their schools are to register with SEP when the student completes their hours in whichever field they're training in. That school submits the hours, much as expertise does, or any other school in Nevada does with our board. They submit the hours of completion, and then at that point, if they ever need hours, they would request it from that regulatory agency, not from the school. So according to her transcript, there is an SEP number there. And I believe that if the school does what our schools do, they submitted those original documents to them, and not the altered document that was received the second time around, based off of the template that you provided. But we wouldn't know that because we haven't received the legitimate, I guess, transcripts at this point from SCP.
Yes, this is Gary Landry, Executive Director. If I could just step in, one of the things that could clear all this up is if you could request from SCP, they send the transcripts for Ms. Herrera to us. I think that'll clear everything up, because then we'll have official documents. We'll know exactly what she took, and we can then proceed from there and let you know how many of those are acceptable to us. How many would she have to take any more hours, or could she test? I think that would clear everything up.
Thank you, Executive Director. So it sounds like we need something to just verify the hours through, and it's essentially like an accredited school. We just need something from agency or government agency that can attest to the verification of the hours. Mr. Guerrero, is that something that that you all would be able to do and request? Because that's essentially what the staff is asking in order to ensure that the hours are valid hours. We are looking for this state agency or government agency to provide those hours. Is it possible to work with staff in fulfilling that request?
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to be in contact with Mr. Aaron, who is the Director of Education, and I'm going to ask him if that is possible to get the seal from the Public Education Secretary, if that is what you need in order to validate the training.
Staff, is that something acceptable, working with Mr. Guerrero, just to clarify what it is that we need so we can move forward? And I'm assuming in this case, we wouldn't be necessarily denying the petition, but maybe tabling the issue?
Yes, that is correct. As soon as we receive the original documents from SCP with the official transcripts, from there, we can take a look at them and reevaluate her application.
Alrighty. Do we have any comments by perhaps the board on this matter before we move onward?
I do, just a really brief one. I'm a little confused on why that wasn't done in the beginning. Given that information to Mr. Victor. My other statement is, I'm a little confused on when we say breakdown. I know in the past, in the Vietnamese and the Philippines and other areas, etc., we have communicated with the schools just to verify that information accordingly. So this is kind of new to me. The other question is the full breakdown of what we require regarding our hours and what each hour is required in order to say that these licenses are acceptable. Sometimes the breakdown or the verbiage is slightly different. I'm hoping that we're familiar with that. And we're double checking to make sure that say, for example, it may state face cleaning, which is actually facials, things of that nature, that we're double checking those areas and those requirements. I know Leah has made sure that those are done in the past accordingly. So if there's any discrepancies regarding the breakdown of hours for maybe, I'm just paraphrasing, a nail program or what have you, have to have so many manicures, so many pedicures, etc. And people are transferring from different states or different, countries, etc., that we have those breakdowns. So if 7 manicures needed to be done, but the requirements that we state that we take, reciprocity states that they did 8 or 9 or what have you. I just want to make sure that we're staying consistent across the board with what we're looking at with reciprocity too. So that was just my statement. Thank you, Vice President.
Thank you. I'm sorry?
This board member Douglas, I have a question also.
Mhm.
I wanted to know if license wasn't required in Mexico, what was the purpose of going to school? And the schooling that they have, is it an accredited school that United States accepts?
Ms. Douglas, this is Martha Jackson. So the schools in Mexico, you are correct. They don't need a license. There's other countries that also don't require licensing. They issue certificates or diplomas. At that point, that's what they would post in place of their license at said salon that they're working in. For this specific country, they are registered with SEP. And that's their regulatory agency where their hours go to. And then from there, we would receive the breakdown of hours from them to be able, for us to be able to recognize their training.
Okay.
As far as the, I also wanted to mention that on those 34 applicants that we had approved within the last year, 30 of them were from Mexico. And this is the first time we're receiving any type of like a pushback with trying to get the hours that were requested. What we typically do with our out-of-country applicants, we give them a checklist when they come asking for what's required to get a license in Nevada. So we'll give them a breakdown of what we need, which is the breakdown of hours, if they need their passport, any other documents that they need to supply. On that list, it does say that the hours need to come from the regulatory agency. So it was given to Ms. Herrera at the beginning when she did request for that information.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, staff. Do we have any other questions by any other board members?
My last question is for Mr. Victor. Were you received that information in the very beginning? Because it sounds like it was kind of confusing what the requirements were, and then another document was submitted. That's what I'm hearing Bertha say. So were you given all of that information and it was just confusing? I just need clarification just so that moving forward that we're successful in making sure everyone is submitting what they need to successfully.
Yes. At Expertise Cosmetology Institute, we are the only school who offers cosmetology in Spanish. So I've been, teaching cosmetology in Spanish from 15 years at that company. So that is why when the governor, he signed the law, the AB 278, regarding that any person in this state can study with the I-team from the IRS. So we start with a campaign, to spread the information and to support a little bit the Hispanic community. So when Bernice went to Stable the first time, and met with Berta, and he went over the process, then when she received the information about how many hours, she went to the school to try to enroll, so that is why it was in the time that I get involved, because from 2020 hours and just recognized 940. For me, like, once again, it looks like unfair. But if now I know what Ms. Berta is requesting, just the seal from the SEP, I'm going to, like I said, I've been in contact with that beauty school, because it's not the first person that I've been assistant with the documentation. So like, once again, we're the only school who offers cosmetology in Spanish, and that is the school that they go to get a little bit more support. So I've been sending a lot of people to stay aboard to have the process or to get the review, and always I advise them to translate with the translator that is recognized by you, not with an already person. So in this case, is the only reason why I get involved, because I mean 940 hours from 2020 for me is still looking unfair. But I already know what is the discrepancy in all of this. For sure, as soon as we finish, I'm going to be in contact with the director of education in that video school to request the seal from the CEP. I mean SEP.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Thank you. I'm sorry, Vice President, I turn back over to you.
Oh, no, any additional comments by any other board members before we move on? Alrighty, so again, we can table this issue for until it's resolved, or I'm assuming, will he be coming back before the board? If he's able to get those requested and documents that we're looking for, will we have to appear before the board again? Or will this be resolved directly through staff?
This is Gary Landry, Executive Director. It will be resolved through staff. If we get the SCP document, we'll take a look at it, see what hours are there, see what can be applied, and tell them, tell the applicant how many hours she has. It's applicable, how many hours she needs to take in addition, if there are any additional hours to be taken. If they don't agree with that, that would be the only reason they'd come to the board. But we can handle it at staff level at that time.
Okay, thank you. Deputy AG, how do I proceed with this item? Do I?
Vice Chair Baltazar, this is Justin Drew for the record. What I would recommend is, I would recommend taking a vote to deny the petition because they're gonna be resubmitting it. The petition was based off of the documentation that was initially provided to the board staff at this current time. Because they're gonna be, because the respondents are going to be, or the applicants, I should say, are going to be submitting additional documents, that would be grounds for a new petition if necessary.
Okay, perfect. Mr. Guerrero, do you understand that although we'll be making a vote, it's not an impediment to what we just discussed
Everything
earlier?
is clear for me, and I really appreciate the opportunity once again.
Thank you. Already, board, if I have a motion.
This is Kai Stanton. I would like to make a motion to deny the petition
May I have a
for,
second? Oh, I'm sorry.
Board Member Harris, I second that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
And
Thank you.
Oh, sorry, Vice Chair Baltazar, before we close that one, just for the record, Madam Chair is abstaining from the vote and has, just for the record.
Okay, thank you, Deputy AG.
Also, this is Kai, Vice President. I would like to also, before we close that, to ensure that those documents are reviewed, not just against the ones given, so that it's continued to be denied as well. So that we are just looking at the ones from the actual given from the government, not so much, it'll just create some confusion. It sounds like the water's a little muddied. So we need to just clarify it as best as possible and ensure that they have the information clear and precise and what the requirements are. So just to be clear on that. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. That's an excellent point. Alrighty. Moving on to the following item. Madam Chair, will you be taking over, or will I yield back to you, or?
Yeah, I could take over from here. Thank you, Vice Chair.
Thank you.
I appreciate you. We're gonna go now to petitioner number 3, Rebecca Bryant, E-46 Electrolysis Center of Nevada, license salon number 187344. Petitioner Rebecca Bryant, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Can we have you sworn in, please?
Do you swear that the testimony you're going to give today is the truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Very good.
Okay, you can go right ahead. We can hear from you now, the board.
Okay, I'm referring to NRS 644A 400. When I first took my apprenticeship here in 1984, it was 1,000 hours and I did it in a year. I had part-time work at the time and I was able to study at that rate. There are a couple of things that I would like to address. The first thing, a little background, I've been in business since then. And one of my electrologists who's been with me almost 20 years, Patty Sayano, licensed electrologist, passed from COVID in December. And so I was in a bind, and I have an esthetician or cosmetologist working here doing skincare. She rents from me, and she was very willing to start the program to learn electrolysis. However, the 1,000 hours seemed really prohibitive for her because I needed help right away. I do understand that we do want to keep a level of credibility. Of course, the 1,000 hours is reasonable. But my question was, with NRS 644A 400 4A, the minimum training of 500 hours is permitted in an approved school. And so when I inquired about applying to be a school in order to move the process along, I was told that there really aren't any regulations for electrolysis school, that the schools that would apply, or the rules would apply under the esthetician program, which requires a minimum of 20 students and a certain amount of square footage that I don't have. The other part of that was, if I were to do the 1,000 hours, that she would have had to do it in 5 months and pay a fee. And so when you do the math, she's already got a job. She's not a full-time student. When you do the math for 1,000 hours over 5 months, you're talking 50 hours a week, which seems pretty unfathomable to anybody who has a life. So she did renew her 5 months after the first 5 months, and then paid a second fee in order to be able to complete her apprenticeship, which she's doing now. She's got 718 hours under her belt. My other point, or my other request, is that since she was a licensed cosmetologist already and had all the full education of cosmetology, I would feel that for her to become an electrologist, that it would be more like an add-on to her education that she's already had, that she's been experienced in for many, many years. And so my question was, could we possibly reduce her amount of hours just to learn electrolysis, since she has the cosmetology license behind her? And so that's what I was told, to petition the board and ask you what to do about it. So there are a few matters going on. I think that electrolysis regulations probably need to be revised. At this point, electrolysis, right, there's maybe 6, 10, I don't know, very few electrologists in the Valley, and the profession is booming right now. People have rediscovered electrolysis, and if you go anywhere on any group of professional electrologists, they're all begging for somebody to join their practice and become electrologists. So I think it would be to everybody's advantage if we were able to open up the electrology field a little more than it has been over the years here in Nevada.
Thank you.
Thanks.
At this time, I'm sorry, we didn't have you sworn in, did we, Director Landry?
She was sworn in.
Okay, that was so quick, I couldn't remember. Any questions or comments by any of the board members?
Madam President, this is Kai Stanton. I just wanted to just refresh everyone's memory regarding electrolysis. They insert a fine needle into the natural opening of the hair follicle in order to destroy hair growth cells, a process known as electrolysis. So that is what the service consists of. Technicians who specialize in treating unwanted hair by destroying the growth centers of individual hairs. So that is the full breakdown of what they do. I do think that, yes, the business is growing accordingly. But what's wonderful about businesses growing, aesthetics and all that other fun stuff, as well as the eyelash extension, et cetera, it requires everyone to have a certain amount of education in order to ensure that the safety of the human body is the number one concern before procedures. And so in order to do that, we have to know 110% on what we're doing, and that's why the 1,000 hours are there. The anatomy and physiology that's required, not just the service, is important. I know we want everyone to get to work accordingly, successfully in the state of Nevada, and everyone's business is growing, and that's amazing. But we have to make sure that we're growing in a healthy, safe way, and not just to meet the needs of maybe a small select few. We have to make sure that it's meeting the needs and the requirements of Nevada across the board. And if we start pushing out and lowering certain requirements just to get people to work, it concerns me on the level of knowledge and things that can transpire due to the lack of knowledge given. Like it has been said, this isn't a very large industry on the Nevada part, but it is growing to be so. So having said that as well, we need to make sure that we're remaining not complacent, but we're remaining positive as well as strong, growing with the information we have in place. So that's why I'm for the 1,000 hours to stay there. I wish we could just say, hey, let's just lower this to meet everyone's business needs. But unfortunately, we have to make sure that the education is there to be sustained. If there's other board members that have had a different experience or a different view, I would love to be open to hear that. But I just wanted to be clear on what that service entails as well.
It's Board Member Douglas. I 100% agree with Staten. I think it's Staten Kai. And I also would like to ask Miss Rebecca, would you like someone to take shortcuts on you?
That's not my point. And I think you're misinterpreting what I'm saying. My statement about lowering the hours was specifically directed towards someone who is already a fully licensed cosmetologist. She's had sanitation training. She does facials. She is already working with the skin. This is someone who is already quite experienced for quite a few years. I am not asking for any standards of the industry to be lowered. I would be the last one to ask for that. So I hope you didn't misunderstand what I was saying.
I was just going by when you were saying things need to be revised. And I just felt that revised because you figure she's already had training in these areas. There's room for improvement for everybody, always. So that's what I'm just saying about this part. Thank you.
Rebecca, I just had a comment, Gwen Bramo. And maybe it's a comment and it's a question for you, because I know it's difficult when you're in a field where there's not as many, but the field is growing, in which we do as board members appreciate and staff appreciate that. But I think what we have to do, and you can probably be a part of some of the meetings, the law has to be actually changed. At this point, 1,000 hours is in the law, and the board really can't reduce what the law states, but we could take a look at it maybe in the future. But I did have a couple of questions for you. And maybe a couple questions for the staff as well. When you were speaking about, when I was reading too in your letter to the board, your petition, in which we appreciate you coming before us, because sometimes if you don't bring these matters to us, we're not fully aware. So with the electrologist, far as the school, it would appear to me it would be somewhat similar. Would that fall, Director Landry, under like aesthetics or no? With some of the same qualifications as far as like square footages and things like that, since it has to do with the skin?
I believe I was told by one of your board members in a telephone conversation that the only regulations available to open up an electrolysis school are the same regulations that are for estheticians.
Yeah, it would kind of appear to that. I mean, that would be with your experience. I mean, that would probably be something that maybe you could consider in the near future to be able to grow and create more opportunity. Because I mean, if the field is growing and we're going to need more, then we have to figure out ways to be able to bring more individuals into the industry. Far as the hours, I believe it says 1,000 hours, and they had like 5 months of training, and then I kind of did the math a little bit too as well. It would take about 7 months to complete. I know, and that's a full time. You're actually right. So are you saying that when the 5 months was over for your apprentice, they had to go back and repay a fees again for additional time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that is probably something, Director Landry, if we could look at maybe extending the time for the amount of hours, because even when you calculate the 40 hours a week, in 5 months, you don't come up with 1,000 hours. And that's a full-time 40 hours a week student. It would take 7 months.
Right, we can look at that. To be honest, we've not looked at the electrolysis portion of the law because we've never had anyone express an interest in it. So with that, with having someone want to look at it, we can look at the time for the number of hours. I do want to reemphasize, just as you said, Chairman Bremo, the earliest that anything would be done on this would be 2023, and it would be July of 2020, or June 2023 when the law would be passed. So that's if it can be passed, if the board wants to take it on, and if the legislature approves it, that would be the first that you'd see any changes to that. But I do agree, anyone who wants changes needs to approach the board and ask them so that we know that it's a topic of concern. Because if no one asks, we don't see it as a concern because we don't practice in those areas.
I think it sounds like at this point, it's probably something that we need to put in the law review committee if possible for 2023, because the calculation, it doesn't add up.
Right.
So I mean, and then for somebody to have to repay, it seems she should have been able to maybe apply for an extension until they can complete.
There's no, the way the law is written, these laws were written quite a while back. There's no method to allow an extension. So if the law doesn't allow it, we can't allow it.
Okay, so if we could, I think Miss Bryant brought up a good, thank you, Miss Bryant, for that.
Thank you.
A good topic for us to move forward with, far as the length of time. We've lowered hours in the past, and I'm not really sure if the hours should be lowered, but I know the time frame should be lowered, because now that advanced aesthetic license is going to be operating, because you do operate lasers as well, right, Ms. Bryant?
No, with solely electrolysis. It's only via the probe that is inserted into the skin. It's not topical.
Okay, right, it's underneath the skin. Okay, so I'm just for supporting the fact that you need more time to complete the program. And then I would look at if I was you, I would probably stay committed to the standards for electrolysis school. And then you'll be able to train and graduate more in the profession and continue to grow.
I appreciate that. I'm actually hoping to retire in the near future. This isn't for me. Um, but if I can help the industry in any way, and if I can help the board in any way, maybe my 40 years of experience will come in handy.
Awesome. Okay, well, thank you. Thank you for appearing today before us.
Thank you too.
Madam President, really quickly before we close out, I have a question. Is that something we can talk about in the subcommittees regarding if they are in cosmetology, score, and aesthetics? What does that look like percentage wise? I would like to take a closer look at this after the advanced aesthetics program has been completed and finished, because I'm not sure what's going to incorporate. I know there are some lasers and all that involved as well. So I would like to take a look at that after everything is said and done regarding those licenses, so that we're not crossing. And then also, if anyone does decide to go back to school just to be an electrolysis, she did bring up, Miss Rebecca did bring up a very good point. Is there a percentage of hours do they get to, you know, rather than go for the whole 1,000 or what have you? So I just wanted to put that on record. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments from board members before we move to the next petitioner? So I would like to make a motion to deny. I would like to request a motion, please.
This is Board Member Douglas. I'd like to deny Miss Rebecca Bryant's petition number S187344.
This is Kai Stanton. I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And Miss Bryant, just because it was denied doesn't mean that you don't keep committed to you know, what some of your requests that we discussed today.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye. Petitioner number 4, Lindsay Cortez, AP 1047954. Lindsay Cortez, are you available this morning?
I am.
Can we have you sworn in, please?
Do you swear that the testimony you give today is the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Very good.
Okay, go right ahead, Lindsay.
I'm just here to possibly get approved to partake in an cosmetology apprentice program. I live in Elko, Nevada, which is more than 60 miles away to the nearest school. I am in Elko County, which is a little bit bigger than the 50,000 people for the population.
Okay, so let me just be clear. So you're requesting to become a cosmetologist apprentice in Elko?
Correct.
And Elko is how many miles from Clark County?
Almost 300 miles.
Oh, but it has more than 50,000 people is what you're requesting.
Yeah, in our county, right? Our county is fairly large, but yes, more than 50 in our county.
How close you are to the nearest school?
The closest one is, I believe, Twin Falls, which is 3 hours away.
Okay. Any other questions from any other board members?
Ms. Bramo, sorry,
Yes.
Russell Jackson. So we have had other applicants come to the board for approval for this exact reason. A lot of them have been in Logandale, I believe, where they are more than 60 miles away from the nearest school, but their county is more than 50,000 in population. So in the past, I believe the board has approved them because of the mileage itself. I don't know if that will be the case for petitioner 4 and 5, Lindsay Cortez and Miranda Hobb, if that'll be something that they would be able to get approved.
And Chairman Bramo, this is Executive Director Landry. The only reason why it comes before the board is because of that stipulation in law that says the 50,000. If the board saw fit to allow the executive director or executive director and staff to allow petitioners who come for an apprentice in counties like Elko and grant them apprenticeships, we could do that, or we could just have them come before the board. It's whatever the board wants, but that's the only reason they have to come before the board now is because of the population of Elko County.
Director Landry and Bertha, thank you. I don't see a problem. I mean, for me, I think anybody that has to drive 3 hours to school, that's a long ways, 3 hours there, 3 hours back. I don't have a problem. I think it would be easier for us if you could take a look at that information and make that decision, as long as they're there, population, because from 50 to 53,000, I mean, it was the only reason they had to come before, because it's over 60 miles out of Clark County. So I think that's something that the board staff, as far as you, executive director, should be able to make that decision. If we can can we make 2 votes today? Can we vote?
That you can't make a vote on allowing me to do that because it's not on the board agenda. I'll make sure that there's an item on the next board's agenda.
Yes.
That it'll say that, we'll make a recommendation and the board will grant the executive director the ability to grant apprenticeships for, counties that are over 50,000, but the driving distance is over 60 miles. We'll write something up.
Yeah. Any other questions? Any questions or concerns from any of the board members? Can I get a motion, please?
We're doing a motion to accept.
Right, we're getting them. You have any questions or concerns, Ms. Douglas, about Lindsay Cortez coming an apprenticeship in Elko?
No, I do not.
Okay, can we get a motion?
I would like to do a motion for the petition for Lindsay Cortez or AP-104-7954. I would like to accept.
Okay, can I get a second?
Okay.
Board Member Harris, I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Lindsay Cortez.
Yes, thank you. So, does after this, do you wait like the 30 days for it to be approved again, or how does that work?
You just reach out to the board staff.
Okay, sounds good.
Awesome, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Petitioner number 5 is similar. Can we have you sworn in, Miranda Hobb? Is Miranda?
Yes.
How do you pronounce your last name? Hobb?
Hobb.
Okay, I did good. Okay, so can we have you sworn in?
You
Yes.
swear that the testimony you give today is the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Very good.
Go right ahead and present.
Hi, I have the same, similar to Lindsay's case. I had applied for a nail technologist apprenticeship. I also live in Elko, Nevada. So I am the same distance away from the nearest school.
Okay, I have a question for you. The last petitioner had a particular salon. Do you have a particular salon that you're going to be like requesting to have this training at, or is it the same salon?
It is a different salon than Lindsay's.
Okay, so I guess the board can take care of that, the board staff. Okay, I don't have any other questions for you. Any other board members have any other questions? Can I get a motion from a board member, please?
This is Board Member Douglas. I'd like to accept the petition Miranda Hub U-104844.
Board Member Harris, I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Miranda.
Thank you.
Make sure you reach out to board staff, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Motion carried. Okay, thank you. Petitioner number 6, AMO School. Do we have you available today? AMO School. Okay, Director Landry, how do we move forward with this? Have you had any information, Leah, from AMO School?
I have not heard from them since I received their petition. It was my understanding that I believe they're primarily a massage school that wanted to teach aesthetics out of a spare room. And the spare room square footage was what you might expect a square footage of a small room to be, which is why I suggested they petition, but I've not heard from them since. So I'm not sure whether they're on the call. If not, it can be, we could vote on it, or they might reappear at a later meeting. I'm not sure.
What I would suggest, if they've not shown up, I would vote the petition down, reject the petition. And if they want to appear again and petition again, they can do so.
Awesome. Can I get a motion to deny petition, please?
Board Member Harris, I would like to set a motion to deny petition.
Can I get a second?
This is Board Member Douglas. I'd like to second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 7, petition of Kyra Garrett, license number C-40450. Kyra Garrett, are you available today?
Yes, I am, and it's Kira.
Kira, I apologize for that. Can we have you sworn in, please?
Yes.
Do you swear that the testimony you're going to give today is the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Very good.
Okay, you can go ahead and present to the board, please.
Hi, okay, I'm asking for a variance. I want to open a mobile salon, and on the website, it says that you need 100 gallons fresh water and 100 gallons gray water. And I'm just working by myself, and that is a lot of water to carry around. I normally do not go through that much water in a day. I go through maybe 20 to 30 gallons a day. So I'm asking if I can get something with a smaller gallon size. Also, looking at trailers and RVs, they don't come with gallon sizes that big. So I would have to spend a lot of more money to change it so it can match that.
Okay, any other, do we have any questions, comments from any of the board members?
Yes, this is Board Member Harris. Where does she live, Kira?
Yeah, it's Kira.
Kira, hi, where do you live?
I live in Reno, Nevada.
Oh, you are in Reno, okay.
This is Kai Stanton, Madam President, if I may. The requirements that are given for a mobile salon is also included in the various things that you may encounter, such as perms, relaxers, color, sanitation, and all that other fun stuff. You may not use all of that water in one day, but according to the gallons, as well as sanitation and what I'm not sure exactly if you're doing a lot of haircuts or what have you, but the standards across the board.
I'm sorry, you cut out. I couldn't hear you.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay, I apologize. All of those standards that we have reviewed, we've viewed them a couple of times. And so we've all determined with the calculations, including sanitation as well, and not just rinsing off all types of chemicals such as perms, relaxers, and colors, which one may require more than the other water requirement, as well as sanitation. It came to that calculation just for a standard for safety. So that may be not just a challenge, but a concern for the safety of the public. And that's why we have that in place so far. if other board members have any concern at this time, I'll be open to listen to if they have any other concerns besides that one. Thank you.
This board member Douglas, I was going to say the same. Thank you very much.
Well, I think my concern, Kira, this is board member Bramo. I think one of my concerns is two concerns. One is the law. And the second concern is when you're setting your business up, we probably should set our business up for growth. And when you made the statement that you don't have that many customers, I just know it's gonna take quite a bit of water for chemicals.
I do mostly skin, if that. So I don't use a ton of water.
Are you an esthetician or are you a cosmetologist?
Cosmetologist, I just do mostly skincare.
Okay. Director Leah, question for you.
Sure.
What was the requirements? I know we've had individuals come to us before with the same type of issue, wanting to be allowed to have less than the required amount of water. What was the outcome of some of those? I know that we've granted, but I mean, this is like a really kind of like the least amount I've seen in a long time. I think I've seen, period.
Yeah, I don't recollect the board ever approving any variance to the mobile salon, especially with regard to the water. I know a few times people have been asked to come back with more information. For example, I don't have any science on how much the typical skin surface uses in terms of water, that sort of thing. I know a few people were directed to come back with additional information, and I don't believe any of those individuals have come back. But I also can't off the top of my head think of any variance that was given to a mobile salon in the last probably year and a half.
Okay.
And if I may, this is Maggie Adams, compliance specialist. I
Okay,
did do some
Maggie.
research, and the average RV sink is between 1 and 2 gallons per minute. So if that gives you an idea of if you have 10 clients and how many minutes you would spend washing your hands or your implements, or if you're even 5 clients a day. I've seen numbers as high as 3 gallons, but 1 to 2. So figure the 2 range, 2 gallons per minute of water is used.
So you would have very little water, right?
Well, if you use, say, 10 minutes of washing hands, washing implements, you're using 20 gallons per person.
Right.
This is board member Douglas. I agree with everybody on the board, and we just don't use water for clients. We use water for everything else, cleaning, drinking. So you never know. It might be a fire. She might need to use water. So I think it should stay standard.
Okay, Kira, do you understand like how much water you can use just 5 clients washing their hands?
Yes.
You would be out of water.
Yeah. So another question I have is because a lot of trailers, they don't fit that gallon underneath. Is it acceptable to have separate gallon tanks in like the truck that I'm pulling it with, and then they can connect? Whereas,
okay, that would be a Maggie compliance question.
It would have to be self-contained. So if she had 2 tanks that added up to 100 gallons, that would, as part of the trailer attached in that system, I would assume that would be okay, and that would pass inspection. Also, again, to throw out the water usage, you're also looking at having a restroom there. So people are going to be using that restroom in addition.
Right.
Thank you.
So Kira, how about working with our compliance department to find out how you can get the water that you need that's self-contained? Because right now, the way that the law is written, you wouldn't have enough water, but just for 4 or 5 clients to wash their hands.
Okay.
Okay? So we're not gonna be able to move forward with your request at this time.
Okay.
Can I call for a motion, please?
This is Board Member Douglas. I'd like to deny petition C-40450 at this time.
Board Member Harris, I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Petitioner number 8. Anthony Jermaine Smith, ST 2876. Are you present today? Anthony Jermaine Smith. Are you present today? Can I get a motion to deny petition, please?
This is Board Member Douglas. I'd like to deny petition license number ST 2876.
Board Member Harris, I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Petitioner number 9 is it Shaminga Francis?
Yes, present.
Okay, can I have you sworn in, please?
Yes.
Do you swear that the testimony you're going to give today is the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Very good.
Okay. You can go ahead and present to the board.
I went to Paul Mitchell School of Cosmetology to apply. I relocated, first of all, from New York to Las Vegas about 3 months ago. And I had plans to attend Paul Mitchell. So when I went to Paul Mitchell, they told me the procedure was to write to the board to get approved, and then I could attend. So I filled out for the financial aid, I got approved, and the board denied me because I have a felony that I got back in 2001 to 2. I was convicted in 2002. I was 18 years old at the time, 17 years old. I was 18 years old at the time. I'm now 38 years old. And since then, I haven't committed any more offenses. And I've been free and also contributed to my state, which was New York. So out in Nevada, they do it a little differently, which is what I understand. So I'm not really sure if it's a cosmetology board decision or a state decision that I'm not able to attend. But I was just wondering if that could be overturned with the hearing of my story or anything that could contribute to me actually attending school here.
Awesome. I don't have any questions for you. Any other board members have any other questions, or any staff have any questions or concerns? Director Landry, it's just formal procedure.
Yes, Chairman Bremo, this is Gary Landry, Executive Director. The procedure is when someone is convicted of a felony, they write and say, you know, I'd like to attend. I can review and approve all of them except if they had a violent offense involved. This one had violent offense. It was not a severe violent offense, but you know, it's what happens when you have violence involved in a crime. I didn't have any reason to deny. I would have approved, but I can't approve. That's something the board has to do. So that's why it's being brought before the board today.
Okay, any questions? Any board members have any questions or concerns or comments before I call for a motion? I would like to call for a motion, please.
Madam President, this is Kai Stanton. I would like to approve petition.
Member Stanton, you're cutting out.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me a little bit better?
Yes.
I would like to make a motion to approve Ms. Francis's petition.
This is Board Member Douglas. I'd like to second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motions carries. Shaminga Francis.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for your consideration. I'm very grateful.
Good luck on everything.
Thank you.
Petitioner number 10, Elon Nails. Do we have Ona Hong Nugent for Elon Nails and Spa, 187 S 187473? Are you here present today? Is it Ona Hoang Nugent? Anybody from present from Elon Nails and Spa? No? Calling once, calling twice. Elon Nails and Spa. Can I get a motion to deny, please?
Board Member Harris, I would like to deny the motion for Elon Spa S-187473.
It's Board Member Douglas. I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Petitioner number 11, is it Angela Satita? For Angie's Hair Salon, Salon 14404.
Yes.
Petitioner number 11, Angie, is it Saida?
Saida, yes.
Saida, okay, can you raise your right hand?
Yes.
You swear that the testimony you're giving today is the truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Very good.
Okay, Angie, you want to go ahead and speak to the board?
Yes, the only reason I've petitioned was I work for an assistant living. I don't work in a regular salon. And they closed the assistant living in December of 2020 until the end of March 21. And I wasn't at work because they wouldn't allow me in the building. So I didn't really realize my license was due. So when somebody came in April, they noticed that my license wasn't, up to date. I didn't realize it. So I immediately sent the money and they sent me my license. So that's really the only reason I'm petitioning, that since the COVID and all this, and I didn't work in a regular salon, I just worked in assistant living, they wouldn't let me in the building. So I didn't realize it was due.
Any board members have any questions or comments?
Yes, is all of your information, Ms. Angela, please make sure all your information is current with staff, because there are some board members that are currently licensed and have other facilities, et cetera. It's very important that those are updated, because I know you receive text messages and email notices currently, like back to back to back to back. So it's really important those are updated. Also, if you look into your law book, it does state that Nevada State Board of Cosmetology staff is not responsible to let you know regarding the updates of your expired licenses. If you have a current law book, you can see that in there as well. Do you have a current law book?
I don't.
It's okay. I've sometimes it's been a challenge for me. And what's wonderful about staff is they've not only made it a little bit easier for you to open that up, but you can go to the Nevada State Board website and you can print that out for free. So that saves you $10.
You're dying out on me. I can't hear you. You're dying out.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, perfect. I'm sorry. The reception is not the best right now. It just stopped snowing here. But if you go to the Nevada State Law website, you can print the law book out for free. It saves you $10 and some gas. That's awesome too. So if that's something
You can't hear her.
okay.
I'm sorry. You're dying out on and off.
Can they hear me? Can you guys hear me out there in staff?
I can hear you now.
We can hear you now.
Yes.
Okay. The law book,
Yeah.
you can purchase that for, not purchase that, I'm sorry. You can print that out for free.
Okay.
Yeah, on the Nevada State Board website.
Okay,
And then if you feel more comfortable with a book to go to the law office, it's only $10 and you can get that in paperback as well. That will further support you. And just a updated note, please update your information so you can receive those notices as well. Okay, thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. I would like to call for a motion, please. Any other comments or questions by any of the other board members before I call for a motion? Okay, I would like to call for a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to deny the petition for action S-14404.
Board Member Harris, I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Saida.
well, can I ask you, how much do I owe then?
You can just reach out to the board office, and if possible, they will let you know, and then they can also let you know if you're having any difficulties, you can possibly make an arrangement.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Have a nice day.
You too.
Petitioner number 12 is Pro Nails. Is it Nike Lamb? Nuke Lamb, license number N13088 for Pro Nail Salon. Nuke Lamb. Pro Nail Salon. Anybody from Pro Nail Salon? I would like to make a motion to deny.
This is Board Member Harris. I would like to deny this petition S-12782.
This is Board Member Douglas. I'd like to second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Petitioner number 13, Vanessa Wright, N-3462. Are you available? Vanessa Wright.
Yes.
Okay, can I have you sworn in, Vanessa?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you swear that the testimony you're going to give today is the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Very good.
Okay, you can go ahead and speak with the board.
Okay, so been in the business over 30 years and never had any problems at all. This night, as I stated in my paperwork, I had got done. I was doing my own nails, waiting for my mechanic. My mechanic came, was out in the parking lot working on my car for hours, had texted me. I sent copies of the text messages from him saying he was there. Can you come outside? I threw everything in my cart and went outside and was out there in 115-degree weather forever. Finished, both my windows were broken out. And so he finished my windows and I came in. I had already cleaned off my desk. I had just thrown my stuff in my drawers, honestly. And I had already cleaned off my desk and cleaned off everything else. And I came back in, grabbed my purse and left, realized when I got home that I didn't take everything out of my drawers. Came back the next day, but before I came back, I was called and said State Board was there, sitting at my desk, going through my drawers, pulling everything out. And so I came right from my other job and took care of everything. Immediately sent an email to the person that sent me the emails with the citations in them and saying that it was all corrected. And it was a complete mistake on my part to just leave. None of those files were touched on anybody. They were just mine. I'm doing my own nails, literally waiting for this guy. So I'm not trying to make excuses. Like I said, I've been in this business for 30 years and I've never gotten a citation or a warning or anything. I've owned 2 salons and this was something that was such a fluke. And the fact that I wasn't at my desk and the inspector was able to sit there for a very long time and, get stuff that like 2 boxes of drill bits that I haven't touched since we came back from COVID. When I packed everything back in, they've never been touched. The package of drill bits that you can see in the container that was sealed and closed, that did not have any signs of use, but it said, the citation said that it did. They don't even fit a drill that I even have since before COVID. So those were way in the back that were there in case I ever get a drill that fits that again. So my concern is, is a lot of the citations, like the drill bits and things like that I had a note here, but now I've lost it. I'm sorry. I just wanted to ask a question, and what was the difference between a citation and a compliance review?
Okay, let's
answer
just
that.
talk to, can we have on, hold on, Vanessa, I mean, we're gonna get you the information that you are requesting. But I think at this time, I would like to hear from our compliance officer, Maggie. Can we have Maggie sworn in, please?
Do you swear that the testimony you give today is the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Very good.
Okay,
If I may share screen, please give me one moment.
and Maggie, can you tell Vanessa, Ms. Wright, the difference between a citation and a compliance review?
Compliance review is typically issued for things like if a license is expired by 1 day, or we go in and the license is expired that day, we'll issue a compliance review and say, get it fixed by the end of the day. If there is something that is non-sanitation related, somebody doesn't have their license posted, but it's on them, that would be a compliance review. It's basically a fix-it ticket. The inspector will return at a later date. And if it is not fixed at that time, or even at that moment, if it's not fixed at that moment of inspection, the second time, a citation will be issued. It's basically a warning.
Okay.
Okay, so I just have one more comment. So there was an initial citation that was sent to me, but it was somebody else's, and it was polish on cotton and in a drawer or whatever, and it said that it was a compliance review and it needed to be corrected in 20 days because it was a use of, I don't know what the technical term is, but the item that had been used and not sanitized or not thrown away. So I'm confused and that got 21 days to fix. So I'm confused as to why that's different than, the files and the buffers and stuff that are thrown away, and that I wasn't given any, considering it was done literally like 6 hours after this happened. It was all cleared up. The pictures were sent. It was all done. And there's never been an issue, obviously, so.
If I may, President Bruno, I can't speak to anyone else's citations without that person being present and knowing or compliance reviews.
It was the same person. It was the same day, same desk, same everything.
I'm here to speak about these citations. There was a citation that was removed, as you can see on the screen, that was issued in error, that was moved to the person who was responsible for it.
Right.
That's a conversation we can have later on this week if you wish, but we tend to not discuss anyone else's citations with other licensees.
Ma'am, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but it was to me. The client compliance review, it was a piece of cotton. It was to me. It's not in this list, but it was originally sent to me on the same day under the same inspection. I don't mean to interrupt you. I just wanted to be clear that it was to me. But it said I had 21 days to correct it. And then it was gone off of this sheet. It was on 7/15, the same inspection. So I was just confused as to what the difference was between compliance reviews to correct and a citation for things that can be corrected immediately as well.
So that was, thank you for the clarification. That was for having a trash can without a lid. So that's not something that would do.
No, ma'am. I
understand. Okay.
That's not true. It's just I've got the picture right here, my email. I can't, it was a piece of cotton with polish on it. That was originally sent to the person that shares my desk in the daytime and sent to me.
Okay.
So I just want to be clear, wanted to be clear on the review and stuff like that, because that was something that should have been thrown away, as well as all of this other stuff that should have been thrown away. And clearly I didn't do it. But I'm telling you why I didn't do it, and that it was corrected within hours of this happening. So I'm sorry to keep interrupting. Go ahead, please.
Madam President, I just want to clarify, this is Kai Stanton. Ms. Wright, can we please, we have to go through this information with Ms. Adams. And so it is very clear it's been removed. She's clarified that. We need to go over the 9 other citations that she's referring to. Thank you, Madam President. Can we move forward? Thank you, Ms. Adams.
Thank you. So on 7/15 of 2021, the citations were issued for the following reasons. Failing to properly dispose of single-use instruments after use on a client. So these are multiple items that are dirty and in a container. Again, as we've talked about before, each one of these items is considered a separate violation. We issued one violation just to not make the fees exorbitant. We issued one $100 citation for this. You can see the dust, you can see the used implements. The next image is of a drawer with, again, multiple items that are not stored properly, not cleaned properly, trash is not disposed of properly. A citation was issued for this for $100. Another listing of implements, of drill bits, also dirty, some are rusty. If they have been here for over a year, there was ample opportunity to dispose of them or take them home or clean them. A $100 citation was issued for the entirety of these implements. Again, we see another drawer with a remarkable amount of nail dust, a buffer, nail files, all of which that are showing signs of use, stored with other implements in a drawer. A $100 citation was issued for all of these. There's another shot. You can see dust on the nail polish. Again, more nail dust in the drawer. I would hazard to guess this was not just after one service of working on your own nails. Another shot of a drawer, $100 issued for all of these. You can see multiple items that have been reused. There is rust on this nail clipper, and there are also nail clippings in the drawer. A $100 citation was issued for this. This is a Credo blade. This citation has been paid, but again, you can see the nail pieces in the drawer, as well as single-use items throughout. Another image of single-use items being stored without being thrown away or without the space being cleaned. Another drawer, $100 issued for all of these items. You can see the implements, dirty, used. And another image. Here we have additional items. A $100 citation was issued. Actually, this was the $200 citation for practicing invasive procedures. This citation was paid. This is a Credo blade, which has not been allowed for years, if at all. These are the reasons the citations were issued. I think it was more than kind to not be issued a individual $100 citation for each of these sanitation violations. They were issued 100 as a whole. I'm willing to answer any questions you may have.
No questions for you, Maggie. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mrs. Wright, do you have any other questions or a comment? You have any other comments you want to make before I allow the board members to make a comment or have any questions for you? Board members, are there any questions or comments?
Madam President, this is Kai.
No, ma'am, sorry.
I was just asking the board, Ms. Wright, if they had any questions or comments for you.
Madam President, this is Kai Stanton, and mainly a comment. I guess almost in a question form. Miss Wright, I'm looking at these pictures, and according to your statement and what I'm seeing, according to these pictures, this is not adding up. It is extreme clear that it is high negligence of sanitation. That buildup of debris is so thick. And also the dead skin cells that are built up on each use of those files are far from one usage. They're literally coming apart. Then you have the razor that hasn't been clearly sanitized. It almost looks like there's built up cotton from the acetone residue that's stuck there. To be honest with you, I'm completely standing by this citation. This is very disturbing, especially in the high rate that we're in with not just COVID, but MRSA was a huge thing for a while as well. And all those dead skin cells that are built up on your materials, tissue, used tissue, just the base of the drawers themselves looks like a sanitation hazard. So I'm really hoping that you clean this out diligently and according to board regulations, because this, I have to say, is not one use, period. That this is nowhere near. So that's my statement. Also, the containers are open, not just open, but the lids are completely gone. Like I'm so confused on how it just got this bad. If your sanitation is meeting requirements after each and every single client. You know, I know sometimes things may, you know, people get busy, there's challenges, but we can't allow that to overtake our judgment regarding the safety of others. If that was any family member of some sort of anyone's, I think if they see this level of establishment, they would not be so racy as to say, let's please have a manicure. So I think we need to take a sobering look at this. Thank you, Madam President.
You're welcome.
Hello, yes, this is Board Member Harris. I agree with Board Member Staton. And also, when you take your test, when you renew your license, there's a sanitation test right before that explains with every use, after every client you were to throw away. And clearly, as Staton said, that's not obvious. That's not the case. So, yeah, 30 years in the business. Yeah, we should know better. That's all. Thank you.
Before I call for a motion, Ms. Wright, do you have any comment you want to say to the board before I call for a motion?
No.
I would like to call for a motion, please.
This is Kai Stanton. I would like to uphold the citation for N-3462 to be upheld, please.
Can I get a second?
Board Member Harris, I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Ms. Wright, if you're having difficulties with that, with the citation fine payment, you can reach out to the board office. I'm sure that they'll be willing to work with you on some type of arrangement if necessary.
So they all still stand?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Petitioner number 14, Cynthia Lomila, for Perfectly Bodied Spa, U1047117. We have Cynthia Lomila.
$900.
Are you available, Cynthia? Cynthia Lomila. For Perfectly Bodied Spa. Okay, can I get a motion to dismiss?
Board Member Harris, I would like to dismiss petition U-104717.
This is Kai Stanton. I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Petitioner number 15, is it Nikki Pearson? U 104843 on the behalf of Cuties and Cupcakes.
Yes,
We have Nikki Pearson available.
right here. How are you? Good morning.
Good morning. Hi. Can you raise your right hand, please?
Most definitely.
Do you swear that the testimony you're going to give today is the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Very good.
Awesome. You want to go ahead and speak with us, please?
Yes, ma'am. I am a new business owner. So I started a mobile party bus for girls ages 3 to 16 at the beginning of the year. And we just started in July. So I'm basically like coming off my conversion and starting everything. And then around June, I received a letter from the Cosmetology Board stating that I needed to cease and desist my services, which I hadn't even started yet. But I got a letter. So of course I have no association with that. So I'm like really kind of surprised I received it. And then I'm like, well, I'm just not really going to pay much attention to it because I'm like, well, I'm not even in that particular field. But the thing is, we have a spa theme. So it's themed. Like if you were going to a place and they had a heart attack grill, which is in Fremont, and they have hospital gowns when you go in, and you put them on and you have things that kind of associate with that. So the idea of it is a spa theme. And so I put that in my application when I applied because it's commonplace when you're in this particular business, if you have a themed party bus, that you put the spa in it. So people kind of know like what you're doing so they don't ask too many questions or it's not like confusing. So in that, me doing that, I'm not really thinking anything of it, but because of that, it became a whole thing of that I was a salon and I'm doing all these things. And I'm like, no, that's incorrect. So then again, I keep moving forward and then I receive another citation, but this time I have violations stating that I'm operating a salon and then I'm doing things without a license. And I'm like, well, we're not a salon. We're just a themed party bus. So the thing is, we don't do any like cosmetology services. It's a disclaimer on my website that states that. And that's also in the documents that are, I guess, presented for us. And it says that I don't do anything with cosmetology, anything of that nature. Everything we do is for entertainment purposes. So the kids, they paint their own nails. You know, they do their own eyeshadow, things of that nature. We make cupcakes on the bus. We make cookies. We, you know, make headbands on the bus. Like we do karaoke. We do a lot. So, I mean, the idea of a theme was fun to me, and girls like the whole idea of simulating an experience but actually not having the experience. So that was the idea, but now it's become a whole thing. So there was verbiage on my website like mani and pedi was used or facial was used, and then because of everything that is invoked, I've removed it since because I didn't understand that it was going to cause so much of a issue. So that's been removed. It's been taken off. But we never performed anything like that. Like I never had a situation where we were doing those things. And there's not even, I don't even have employees. Like I'm the only one that works on the bus. So that's the other thing. It was like, well, failure to perform services. We don't render any beauty services. Like you're basically dealing with 9-year-olds that are playing in eyeshadow or they're running nail polish around across their fingers. This is literally what's going on. And we're doing karaoke parties with them. They're decorating cookies. I mean, so for me, I'm not even in the cosmetology field. So it was very interesting when I received the notice because I have never reached out to the Cosmetology Board. I've never had any dealings with the Cosmetology Board, but for whatever reason, like someone either complained or someone said something because they had no understanding and everything in regards to the photographs, like the young lady's mother, she requested for a spa party. So the whole concept of them putting their feet in water or anything of that nature was a part of it. Portable footballs. I don't even have footballs on my bus. Like it was just a portable football that I brought from Walmart and they put their feet in and they dried their own feet off. And it was taken, I posted the picture because I put it on my social media because I was totally unaware that that was a problem. So since this has happened, like I literally stopped doing that. Like if I do a spa themed party, I don't even use those. And then there's like other companies that use the same model and the same business template. There's another company that has spa themed parties and she uses the same verbiage that I was using, but she's not here with the petition, but I am. So I found that very interesting. And I was like, well, I'm only using the verbiage because it's associated with that theme. Like if there's certain words that kind of jump out to you when you see something and you're like, oh, well, that says spa. And then when you're using that, it's like, oh, well, facial. But I mean, they don't perform facials. We don't do any esthetician work, none of that. So it's like, it was just a lot of out of context things that kind of led me to this point. So, I mean, I was basically presented with violations like, well, you need to pay $1,000 for operating the salon. Well, I'm not a salon. So I was like, well, I mean, of course I'm going to petition it because I'm not a salon. And then it's like, well, failure to perform service. We don't render any beauty services. We don't charge for any beauty services. We don't do any of that. I have party packages. That's what people are paying for. But because of the confusion and all of the things that have been misconstrued and things being taken out of context per photograph or the verbiage or any of that, I've removed literally everything that could be associated with that. Because the real name for my company is Cuties and Cupcakes LLC. So it's a party company. Like I do slumber tent parties for kids. I do kids picnics. I mean, I make custom cupcakes for children. I have photographs that I actually printed out and I can show you guys just so you can have a look at that as well. So you can see, so I will put them up for you just so you can see what we do. That's what we do. We have birthday cakes. We do toasts for kids. Like I do themed parties. I decorate the entire bus with the theme. That's TikTok. That's one of the themes that I've done. This is one of the picnics that I've done for a young lady right here. And we had it outdoors. We do quite a bit. So I do gift bags for the children. I do custom cupcakes for them. Those are the TikTok cupcakes that I did. So the one photograph or the photographs that you guys have are from the same party. And all those children did their own nails. They painted their own nails. They, you know, we didn't do anything for them. I didn't do anything for them. Now the water basins, I wasn't aware that buying portable water basins and them sticking their feet in them would become an issue. So literally I was like, well, we just won't do that anymore. And I've done it never again. So it was just because I associated that with the theme. These are the tent parties that we do. That's one of the setups that I've done for someone. This is the kids. They're here decorating cookies and they wear baking hats right here. And that's yet a simulation once again. So, I mean, that's literally like the theme of what we do. And in the midst and encompassed in that is why I'm here. So.
Okay. I was looking at the pictures.
Right.
And I was looking at all the information that was actually submitted. And Maggie, I think we can the board hear from you?
Absolutely. Thank you, President Bremo. One moment and I will share my screen again. Okay, thank you for your patience. So let's see, we are here because of the citation that was issued on July 20th of 2021 for $2,000. $1,000 was issued for operating a salon without a license, and then $1,000 for a salon allowing an unlicensed individual to perform services. That's what brought us here today. Prior to that, this is what I saw on an initial complaint review. On June 28th, I saw the beginning of a coming Las Vegas business, Cuties and Cupcakes Spa Bus, party entertainment. You see some nail polish there. Again, this is what was as of June 28th of 2021. There was no activity going on, but there was advertisement for manis and pedis, are just one of the services we offer. It does say self-care for your princess. That was posted May 19th of 2021. In addition, were these images. So you do see the drawers with the foot spas in them inside the bus. Here's another image of the bus and as it stands. So at that point, I sent a cease and desist on June 28th of 2021, saying you can't conduct any unlicensed activity, specifically nail technology services and operating a salon. I sent this as, and I included the laws that accompany that. This was sent as a compliance review, which we talked about earlier. So this was basically saying, please don't do this. Here are our laws. Here's what it appears that you're doing. Please don't do this. This was sent out. Nothing, there was no follow-up. There was no conversation, no call saying, I'm not a spa, nothing. Later on July 20th, when following up on this, I see the webpage has been added to, where it does mention Manny and Petty specifically. It also had this image of a young girl sitting there while somebody with a towel, she's showing her nails as done. Somebody's sitting there with a towel, holding her other hand. And then there's another girl sitting next to her.
That's
To
also
me-
another young girl. That's the point. Like everything that you're presenting, let me not interrupt.
Excuse me
but-
1 second, no, Nikki,
Oh,
1
I
second.
apologize. I
Mhm.
apologize.
We're gonna let Maggie complete and then you can speak afterwards.
I'm sorry. I apologize for that.
So this was what was posted. Also this image of a row of girls lined up, apparently adults sitting at the end and working what appeared to me to be on their feet. And this is
No.
them showing their nails done. So this is really why the citation was issued. Yes, it does say, it has Ms. Pearson's image. It does say later on, again on July 20th, here's the party bus. It does offer mini Manny and Petty facials.
Lady,
There,
out of context.
there is also a disclaimer that says we don't provide or offer licensed cosmetology or nail services. It's for entertainment purposes only. But given the fact that these images were posted on social media, to me, this warranted a citation. You may choose differently, but again, after having sent the compliance review with the laws, saying this is what you can't do, not hearing anything back, and then seeing this proceed, I felt that we had no choice but to issue these citations. The board can choose to do with this what, of course, it wishes to do.
Thank you, Maggie. Nikki, you can speak just a few minutes before I have to allow the board to speak. So do you have any last comment you want to say?
Yes, ma'am. I just want to say that I feel like, honestly, it's been taken out of context. They, like I said, they're showing their nails because they all did those things for each other. As far as those bowls are concerned, they're portable. They were removed. So it was the issue of me taking those photographs and doing that and advertising that because it's a spa theme. But as far as us doing anything that requires cosmetology licensing or anything like that, there's a disclaimer there for a reason. The parents receive that also. We don't do that. And so it's for the experience. But as I told you, the bowls were removed because of the fact of all of the things that were going on. And the reason I didn't respond initially was because I had no contact with the cosmetology board. I didn't even know that there was a need to respond back. When she sent me the next citation, which I received, or the next communication, I did respond. I did call. I did ask her for these same things that she's showing you now. I asked her for proof of that before we even spoke so that I could understand exactly what was going on. And I didn't get any of that. I never received any proof. I never received any, thing to kind of, I guess, compliment the accusations that were being made, because I did request that when we spoke to each other. And then I also sent a letter to her as well. So for me, I've really tried to do everything I can to be in line with everything, but me advertising with Manny and Petty, as I said, it was themed. So the idea was to use the verbiage along with that. But there are other companies in Las Vegas that are doing the exact same thing and using that same verbiage, and they're not licensed and they're not requiring a license and they're not here petitioning their business. And they've been in business for quite some time. I have two in particular that are doing that. So that's why it's just interesting to me that this was something that I was being approached with, when there's other companies that do the same thing. They're event planning companies just like me, and they literally have spa themed parties for kids, and they use the same wording and verbiage.
Okay, Nikki, can I say this to you though?
Yes, ma'am.
And when the board office receives a complaint, and maybe nobody's complained about those companies, but I'm sure their day's gonna come. But when the board receives a complaint, I don't think it's pick on Nikki day. I think that when they receive a complaint, they have to act on it. We wouldn't have never known unless somebody complained. So somebody filed a complaint with the board, and that's how the compliance department gets involved. So I want you to take out is to pick on you, because the other people will eventually get their time too, because we're gonna find out who they are, and it'll be the same exact situation. They still would have to come before the board. So I want you to just kind of maybe take that part out of it, because it started with a complaint. I want you to know that first. So I don't have any questions for you. I'm just looking at the pictures, but I'm gonna find out if any of the other board members or have any questions or comments for Nikki Pearson.
Madam President, this is Kai Stanton. Nikki, I think that your business is amazing, and that's not, I guess, the concern at all. The concern is you made a statement that it's the experience, and you also stated that your clients paint their own polish, so it's almost like a Mary Kay setup, and something similar, which is you put on your own makeup. They do not apply it to you under any circumstances. They are not a licensed at all. So they give you a little sample. That's just one of the multiple things that are out there. I'm sure there's way more advanced things that for party buses and other things. But our realm is when someone actually touches someone else, that is an act of cosmetology service.
Got it. I understand.
And I sometimes things need to be simplified a little bit better that way, because when we get into the big NRSs, NACs, blah, 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 and you have no clue.
Right. And
what
I'm like, I
someone's
don't know what
talking
that
about.
is.
Yeah,
Right.
it can be
Exactly.
confusing. So the first notice was saying, this is what we noticed. We need you to shut it down. I do see what you're saying, where I don't have a salon. This doesn't apply to me.
Right.
But if you see any notices of any kind, just a little bit of due diligence to give a call and say, hey, I don't even have a salon. I don't know how my name was mixed into this.
Right.
I just need to clarify. Without that clarification, it looks as if you're trying to hide. So I kind of
Not
see
at all.
where no, and that's not your intentions, but that's
Right.
the appearance. And because I don't expect our inspectors to assume, they can only react to what they are visually seeing and what
Right.
the actual facts are in front of them. So given all that to say, unfortunately, my stance is for that to stand because of the multiple photos where you do see unlicensed someone, even if you're just taking their foot and placing it nicely to make sure they don't hurt themselves or to X, Y, and Z. As soon as you touch them, that's an act of a service. That's a fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Any other comments from any of the board members? Okay. And it's unfortunate, Nikki. I mean, I think you're doing a great service with your business, and it seems like it's a really, really good business. It can be really grow to something. But when just as board member Stanton said, when somebody's painting nails or touching a client in either way, it crosses over to cosmetology. Anytime you're touching the skin, if the person was putting their own little shadow on or polishing their own nails, but when you have people actually performing those services, even though it's an event, it's still cosmetology services. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay. All right. I would like to call for a motion, please.
This is Kai Stanton. I would like to make a motion to deny the petition.
Can I get a second?
Board Member Harris, I would like to second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Nikki, if there's any difficulties with getting the payment, there can be a payment arrangement made, if possible, with the office if you reach out to them. But we're just here when basically we have to uphold the law.
Gotcha. No problem.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Petitioner number 16. Is it here? Tram Hayat Tram for Gorgeous Lash Lounge. Are you available? Gorgeous Lash Lounge. License number S186861. Can I get a motion to deny?
Madam President, this is Kai Stanton. I'd like to make a motion to deny A-7422.
This Board Member Douglas, I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. There was nobody from Gorgeous Lash Lounge, right? Because it looks like somebody may be trying to come on. No? Okay, motion carries.
Madam Chair, are we going to continue on with the meeting now, or do you want to can we take a 15-minute break and then come back and finish up the meeting? I don't know if anyone wants to break for lunch or not, but those are
Well,
the.
we almost to lunch. I think it won't take us no more than 15 minutes to get done.
Okay. If
Right?
we have quite a few items, but we can move through them pretty quick.
Somebody needs to take a break.
Okay, if you guys want a 15-minute break, I'll give you one, because you know I don't like giving breaks.
They look stressed.
I don't like giving breaks, but I'll give one. You want a 15-minute break? We'll take a 15-minute break.
Right.
Be back at noon.
All right.
Very good.
See ya.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Chairman Bramo, we're back.
Okay, I'm ready. All right, I want to bring the meeting back to order. The time is 12 o'clock noon p.m. The next agenda item is agenda item H, updates from the Law Subcommittee meeting on 9/9/2021. The Law Review Subcommittee to provide recommendations on leaving the following NRS 644A statutes as written. No changes made. Do we need to go through each and every one?
If you want to, it's not necessary. If all of them are going to be recommended, no changes made, then you just vote on them in a block.
Okay, well, there was no changes made to the Law Review Subcommittee to provide recommendations on the following as written. NRS 644A.050, NRS 644A.615, NRS 644A.650, NRS 644A.800, no changes made. Do I ask for a motion, or is gonna all be agenda item H? I asked for a motion, right?
Right. A motion on those particular ones.
Right, can I just get a motion to approve that there's no changes that's going to be made to those following regulations, NRSs?
Before we do that, Madam President, I just have a quick question. Leah, does that incorporate just the advertisement at the bottom on 644A.800? Is that solely mainly focused regarding schools? That's what we were talking about.
Yes,
Okay.
that carve out is actually, you're asking about is in item H1C. It says at the bottom of the page, and how the subcommittee moved to table the discussion specifically with master in regard to other branches of cosmetology. So that's later on in the agenda.
Okay, no, I was referring to the NRS 644A.800. That one's regarding schools.
Oh, yeah, so 1A includes that, yes, with the, yeah.
Okay, so we did leave it as is. Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead, I apologize.
Okay, I think you're still waiting for Leah.
Oh, no, she answered the question.
Okay, so can I get a motion to accept that there will be no changes on the following NRSs?
I would like to make a motion to uphold and no changes on NRS, all the NRSs. 644A. Do I have to call them all off, Madam President, or can I just?
You can just, you don't have to call them all off.
Okay.
It's Board Member Douglas. I'd like to second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The agenda item HB, the NRS 644A.530, the display of license or certificate of registration. The Law Review Subcommittee recommended new language to be developed to supplement NRS 644A.530 to include that individual licenses need to be posted in such a way that technicians are readily identifiable to the consumer and posted in the view of the public. Can I get a motion for approval?
Madam President, I would like to make a motion for approval.
Member Stanton, you're cutting out.
For 644A.530.
Board Member Harris, I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item HC, the Law Review Subcommittee to provide recommendations to revise or amend NAC 644A.870 grounds for disciplinary action. The Law Review Subcommittee voted to carve out language that would allow the term advanced to be used by those individuals who are licensed advanced estheticians, but would prohibit the term advanced from being used from any licenses in the branch of cosmetology where there's no advanced license. Can I get a motion to accept?
Madam President.
Member Stanton, you're on mute.
Oh, I thought I heard someone get ready to say it. I'm sorry.
That's right. And, sorry, board member.
I would.
Sorry, can I just say something, Madam Chair?
Yes, go right ahead.
All right, sorry, this is Justin for the record. And for all of A, B, and C, it's not that the board at this time is approving these as regulations. It's just an approval of the recommendations to proceed with the workshops to begin the regulation process, just for clarification.
Right, but it means that we're voting on it to move forward, right?
That's correct. So that way, if you vote by the board voting to adopt the regulations, Madam Chair, recommendations by the subcommittees on these regulations, the board staff can start preparing like the workshop materials and everything like that. So that way we can submit that to LCB for
right.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I understand that. I want to make sure, is that clear with all board members?
Yes, I understand.
Okay. So do we need to go back and because I didn't hear, did we get a second?
Yes, there was a second. I believe it was Harris or Douglas. I'm not sure.
Board Member Douglas, I second that motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The law subcommittee also moved to table a discussion on the qualifying terms, specifically master with regards to other branches of cosmetology.
That board chair, Bramo, that was for the full board to discuss the term master and whether that's going to be allowed to be used on all license types or not. And it really doesn't matter to staff one way or the other, just the board needs to know, do they want to allow master to be used with other license types or not? And just come up with a recommendation for or against, then we'll move forward with it.
Madam President, is there a way, because it's just so much work. I don't want like printed master this on there. I just want them, if someone was able to take a class, I don't see what the harm is saying, I took a class, I master blah, 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 rather than being fined and having to go through the rigorous process. There's something or a verbiage that can be utilized that does not need to basically have it printed on the license. It's just to identify those that haven't, but it doesn't, I feel it doesn't need to be printed on a license. I'm just trying to stop people that have obtained, you know, education to utilize that without being fined. Do you get what I'm saying? Not for those that are just, oh, today I am Dr. So-and-so. Like, that's not the verbiage. And so I didn't, if there's a way that we can just, I felt the way it was written, it was pretty clear where it says no medical terms or advanced, you know, X, Y, and Z. But now we're going to change that verbiage, which is fine, but I just don't want it to be a full process. Do you get what I'm saying? Where a process of now we're recreating a whole nother program and correct, like, oh God, I just want it to be able to say they can utilize this term if earned, kind of like, I'm a cosmetologist. You have a cosmetologist license to show this. So I don't know where to go from here. I know I don't think it should be pretty drawn out. Last year or so. So we need to figure something out because this says
If, Madam Chairman, if the board directs staff that you don't want us finding anyone, you want to allow the word master to be used, that's all that you have to do. You don't have to change the regulations, because the regulations don't specifically call out master, it just says similar terms. If you say a similar term is not master, that can be used by anyone on their business cards or whatever, we can allow that. That's part of the regulations don't specifically call out the word master.
okay, that's good. Yes, because we have another advanced aesthetics coming and I just do not want to affect any process at all. We've come so far to the success that we have. And if we could keep everything the same without creating something ridiculous, like I do not want the focus to be taken off of what needs to be accomplished and what a lot of people have worked extremely hard to get, if that's okay, Madam President. I agree with Gary. Let's just go with that. Simplicity is our friend.
Well, let me make this comment, Board Member Bramo. I was just thinking that if you have this extra education and training, why couldn't you just put it on your advertisement? You can just say that you're a master if you want to advertise that you're a master, because we don't have a master's license.
Right, and
So
I don't
that
want to
wouldn't
go
be-
in that direction. Yeah, and I don't want to create that. So let's I don't even want to discuss that in the direction of raising eyebrows to, oh, that's a great idea. No. We got a lot going on. Just don't want to add to it.
Okay, Director Landry, let me ask you, and Leah, maybe let me ask you this question. So if a individual want to call themselves in their marketing materials that they're a master colorist or a master stylist, or, you know, because a lot of the terminology they use in their advertising, would that be an issue?
It would be an issue today, just because it says or equivalent. And if the board would just vote today and say master is not a part of that equivalence, that would be fine, because it's on the agenda as under H1C. It talks about law move to table discussion. If you just gave us direction that using the term master is not a problem, we will take it and run with it. That'll be that way until another board votes something different. But for right now, we can say master would be okay to use on all business cards, on advertising, everything else, unless our legal counsel says we can't do that.
Board members, I would actually recommend putting that as a separate agenda item for the next one, just because it says these are recommendations from the law review subcommittee. And the law review subcommittee, I believe, didn't make that specific recommendation that to allow the, I guess, board staff that carve out exception at this point. So
No, I don't think so. I beg to differ. I think that Attorney AG, that they discussed it and it wasn't really clear. I mean, I was on the call. I mean, I'm not quite sure. Maybe I misunderstood. The way I understood it is that the law review subcommittee didn't want master to be used on licenses.
Okay, and Madam Chair, I guess on my part, I wasn't on those calls, so I can't speak to what those full discussions were.
Can we hear from Board Member Stanton since she chairs that committee?
And President Bramo, when I have the opportunity, I'd speak after Board Member Stanton. This is Board
Not a
Member.
problem. Okay.
Yes, you're exactly right, President. So we do not want that information conflicted with the new information for advanced, and advanced does not conflict with masters. Those are two different entities. So basically thousands and thousands of Cosmos are utilizing this, not just JCPenney, salon, but other corporations to define certain levels of hours, certain levels of years in certain classes that they've received, et cetera. This will dismantle a lot of corporations and backgrounds, as well as those that have taken classes. Even as you walk through a lot of other businesses, it's being utilized. So if we can just add on just that little tidbit, that was the basis of the conversation, making sure it wasn't conflicting with the printouts on advanced aesthetics, because we didn't want anyone saying, oh, I can use advanced aesthetics on X, Y, and Z, when that's a totally different license that's been approved. Thank you, Madam President.
Board Member McCormick.
Yeah, thank you, Madam President. So the question that I have is, currently, there's nothing that stops this word master from being used. Is that correct?
I don't think it is. I'm not sure.
Well,
that's why I'm confused
right.
a little bit. I thought you could use it.
That's a good question. Yeah, we were fined. Several people were fined and told that they cannot utilize that. So that's how the conversation came up. So I'm thinking like this has never been a thing before. Just like what you're saying, how did we get here? I think everything was clarified. So it was just clarified basically to staff, like, please don't fine people for that. That was the bottom line, just, and keep everything else protected accordingly.
Madam President,
yes.
I'll continue. I have another question that I'd first like to get to the bottom of that one. So it sounds like we all have that same question. But to continue, I wanted to also ask, I do believe that this needs further discussion. I believe that if we, regardless, there is some clarity that's still needed, because the word anyone, when this was brought before the Law Review Committee, it was, I could be wrong, but it was specific to licensed instructors. And now I'm hearing anyone, but then I've also heard cosmetologists. So for me, A, is it even something that needs to be separately addressed when it can be done already? And then B, if so, I do think further discussion, because I'm confused as to why. So I guess we would really need to understand what we were changing. Thank you for the floor, Madam President.
You're welcome. I think to speak to that, Board Member McCormick, I believe you were right, because I think originally it was brought about. I think originally we had some practitioners to come before us that could not use it was stated that we couldn't use the word master in their advertisement. And then I think we went to master instructors, because if you have master certification, but I think that in order to move forward, and you correct me if I'm wrong, Director Landry or Leah, to move forward with master on the instructor's license, that would need to be a law change, and it needs to be defined on what's considered as a master educator and what the credentials needed to be. So I'm not quite sure why we even need to table it if you can use the word master.
And one more question, I'm sorry, before any statements made really quickly. I agree with Ms. McCormick and Ms. Bramo regarding that. So if we can use it anyway, it's there should be no more citations for that. And we don't need to put it on the instructors, masters, print out anything. If you can use it, why do we need to change anything? I totally agree with that. So if we can clarify that, I think that we're good. Then we don't need to elevate any, print anything out on anything. Do you see what I'm saying, Madam President?
I see what you're saying, but I just want to make sure that, as the board, that we're clear, so to give clarity, correct me if I'm wrong, Director Landry or Deputy AG, the word could be used in any branch of cosmetology in their advertisement, but not on a license. So what are we clarifying?
The law states these certain terms are their equivalents. And master was considered an equivalent of advanced and these other terms that were listed. If you want master not to be, all we have to do is take a vote of the board, not at this meeting, we'll put it on an agenda item, that you can use master on anything, any description you want, and it'll become a zero word. We won't even look at it if you use the term master colorist, master stylist, master cosmetologist, master esthetician.
Then they might say they are master esthetician.
Right?
But they cannot print it on the license. You cannot print that on the license. You cannot request that. It is not a license. It's not a separate entity.
That's correct.
Thing is, you're not going to, that is not going to be a separate, I just want to clarify that.
Yep. So it won't affect licensing at all. It's only this one section in the regulations, not laws, it's regulations, where it says are equivalent. If the board will take a vote at some future meeting, the next meeting that you have, will have the agenda item saying master is not one of the words that are considered equivalent. You vote on that, you approve that, anyone can use master on anything they want in advertising, not on their license. Their license will just say esthetician, nail tech, cosmetologist, whatever license they have. They won't have it on their license, but they can use it in advertisement. That's it.
Okay, so I want to call for a motion to move forward to put it on the agenda for the next meeting.
And just to clarify, advanced aesthetics is the only advancement in licensing. That is it. On your license. I just want to clarify that for the record.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
So can I get a motion to move forward, please?
Madam President, I'm sorry.
Can I get a motion to move forward to add master regarding advertisement on the next board meeting for approval, for action?
This is Board Member McCormick. I would like to make a motion to add to the agenda the discussion for the word master being used moving forward on the next. I'd like to add that to the next agenda.
I second that motion.
Second, okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 2, update on proposed changes for discussion only. Board staff to provide an update on the status of proposed changes to NAC 644.618 that look to allow remote practical learning in times of emergency.
This is Lady Easter. The update here is we received the draft back from LCB. I've been speaking with Justin, our DAG. We have an agenda mocked up. We just have to wait. If we put it on the calendar, it has to be 30 days notice, but once we have that meeting, we can send it back to LCB saying it's been agreed upon, and then it effectively becomes part of our NAC.
Question for you, Leah.
Sure.
Did we have the particular subjects that were going to be taught on remote learning?
It's just the NAC that you've already seen. It just allows for in times of. So it would just give you the ability to do remote practical. And then from there, how you wanted to suss that out would be upon the board at that time.
Okay.
It just opens the door to allow it to happen.
Okay. Can I get a motion to proceed?
Madam Chair, there's no motion necessary. It's just a discussion item, just to give you a heads up of what's.
Okay, okay, awesome. Selection of board meeting dates for 2022, possible action. January 10, 2022, April 11, 2022, July 11, 2022, October 10th, 2022. Can I get a motion to approve the dates?
Madam President, this is Kai Stanton. I'd like to make a motion to approve the following dates for Nevada State Board meeting for 2022.
Can I get a second?
This is Board Member McCormick. I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Review, agenda item number 4, review of maximum number of theory hours that student can complete via distant learning.
Agenda item 4 is actually the student survey.
Oh, that's what it says?
That's just your number 1 ahead. Yeah, the student survey, it's a discussion only item just to review the responses from the student survey.
Oh, I thought that was number 5, Leah.
Number 5 is what you're talking about. Number 4 is the one we're on. We didn't do number 4 yet.
Okay.
It can be combined too, it's fine. Just very briefly, it's not a voting item, it's just a student survey review. It seems like it's a pretty mixed bag between how students viewed online theory. Of the students that had taken it, it looks like some 62-63% would recommend online theory learning to their fellow students. Mostly there was 309 unique responses to this. So mostly it's useful if you decide to talk about doing remote theory going forward, not in a state of emergency. It's just really something to reference. It's not, I don't know, all that valuable right in this moment.
And in your board pack, there's charts with the.
I was looking at them. Did all the board members get an opportunity to review those charts?
Yes.
Okay, good.
And that doesn't require a vote.
Right, that was a discussion. Any questions from any of the board members?
I think it's interesting how the chart shows on some of the percentages and how close they are in rate. I would love to see this presented when we talk about this permanently being a future discussion if needed overall. If there are any other board members that saw this interesting or highlight anything concerning their concerns at all, or things that they did like that they saw, that was amazing regarding the survey and the information given, and you see the percentages there. And what's nice about this is came directly from the students. This isn't something this came directly from their personal experience on what this looks like moving forward for future, for their education in schools across the board. Madam President, I'm not sure what the next step is moving forward, but according to the surveys, I would like to move forward according to what the students' voices are. And it's clear what their voice is. And so I'm not sure how to make a motion to move forward with a discussion of implementation of whichever law is required for us to move forward with their recommendation on their experiences.
Madam Chair, if I may, this is Justin.
Go right ahead.
All right, thank you.
I'm sorry.
Thanks. Member Stanton, what we could do is board staff can actually just put it on the agenda for next time to have a discussion as far as what specific steps should be taken as far as the results of the survey.
I think that's a great idea.
That's awesome.
If we could do that.
And when we have this discussion, is it possible to open this up to some students or not just instructors, just to allow them to have some feedback? Or would that be muddying the waters a little too much as far as what needs to be achieved? Meaning the recommendation, because I guess the questions are already asked, and I guess I just answered my own question, so never mind.
No, I wouldn't involve. The students have already been involved.
Yeah, they
and
already
I think
answered. Yeah.
It's pretty clear. Which
Oh, sorry, Madam Chair. As members of the public, students are also able to make public comment if they so choose at the board meeting. So if they have any specific comments that they'd like to make, they're always welcome to make public comment, or they could always reach out to the board offices or Executive Director Landry with any issues or concerns that they want to address.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, that's good. There was a couple of questions that were high end for us to really have a discussion on. So it's almost like it's a split there, especially when it says somewhat prepared, which we would all see the high in a cheating rate. I think this is the highest within the last 24 months we've ever seen it after COVID. The level of desperation, as well as the answers when it says somewhat prepared. So I just wanted to take note on that so that the other board members see and take strong note in the students' voices. I know it appears to be amazing on one end, but if you take a look at the other, also it's almost split down the middle on a decision for online. A lot of the students don't feel prepared, which is a direct reflection of the high level of cheating that we're seeing now.
I think it's worth a discussion on taking a look at on how we move forward and what percentage for permanent distant learning. I think it's good for that, and I think because when there's a disaster, there's a disaster. We need to move accordingly. But when it's permanent distant learning, I think this would be good information for us making a decision on how many hours that reflects for practical and how many hours it reflects for theory.
Madam President, I do want to just highlight regarding the state of emergency. I do think we need to keep things in place accordingly. I know we probably need to take some sobering look at some breakdowns and details of hours, which this was kind of all our first rodeo with that. I think we did very successful with accomplishing what we need to meet everyone's needs accordingly. But I know moving forward, there are some glitches that have been highlighted through this process that we do need to fix. But as far as permanent, yes, that should be a discussion, because according to these questions on here, that doesn't necessarily look like the high overall rate of what students are saying. So yes, a discussion is needed versus just implementation of moving forward.
Can we add this to the next agenda if possible for discussion, or is it not quite time, Director Landry, to even discuss permanent distant learning?
We can put it on the agenda because we can put it on the agenda for discussion and action, but you don't have to take action. So we can discuss it to whatever length the board wants, because we'll have 3 months to prepare the agenda.
Yes.
And I think we can put it on the agenda.
I think it should go on the agenda, and I think each board member should take a really good look at each of those categories, and then we can kind of discuss if we want to use this information to reflect what permanent distant learning. We should be able to vote at that time if this information can be used.
Madam Chair, I have a question or a clarification.
Yes, go right ahead.
It's still 1:25 for instructor to student ratio for online learning or remote learning?
I'm not quite sure if we ever did a ratio. That we just did what we did because it was that time and we had to do it.
Okay.
But we didn't set anything in place for the actual students' distance learning. How many instructors to how many students, and that could reflect that as well. There was just multiple, it seems like it was just multiple, it consists of multiple items or multiple, well, I don't know if I was gonna say items is the word, but maybe it was just multiple reasons for what we're seeing now. You know, I don't know if there was too many on one call, or maybe we should have had a less ratio per student. We probably would have had a higher outcome with more students, less instructor outcome. You know, we're not quite sure. So I think it's just going to be up for a discussion.
Okay, because I know I'm an instructor here at the Milan, and I know that's what we're battling is the teacher to student ratio. There's not too many instructors available, sadly. So I just wanted to know if ever we are over for, you know, the 1 to 25 in person, if we were allowed to be over on distance ed.
Yeah, we haven't got to that point yet. So we're just working out the kinks, trying to fine tune it to where it's going to work for the best benefit of the student as well as the institution. Because we want to see success with it. I mean, if we're gonna approve it for permanent, we need to make sure that the students are going to be successful.
For sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Also, Madam President, just to clarify, for the rules and regulations regarding student to ratio, I believe that was kind of just a slight conversation, if I'm not mistaken. Everything was to remain in place, but we were just doing things remotely. Or am I wrong?
I don't think we ever voted on that. I think we went straight into a mode where we approved distant learning to do the best that we could do for the students and the institution at that time.
I see.
So that's going to take us back to, because I just want to be clear, Director Landry, we're going to put the student survey review for discussion and possible action for the next board meeting?
Yes, the student survey will be a part of the presentation when we're discussing remote learning. So when we talk about remote learning, this is what the students said they needed. This is what, you know, the board can then take action on that and do whatever they want as far as allowing remote learning to be done on a permanent basis instead of an emergency only basis or not.
Okay.
I mean, you can decide whatever you want, but it would allow you that opportunity to let the schools know that they could take action and do remote theory on a permanent basis.
I think we should use the student survey. Can we enter that in for a discussion?
Yep, we'll do.
A next board meeting. Thank you. We'll go back to 4 before we go to the executive director's report.
Wait,
The review.
Go, if you're done discussing 4, then you need to go to item number 5. That's when it needs a vote.
We haven't discussed 4.
I believe that there may be 2 versions.
I think in board pack, for some reason it's printing them out of order. So you're correct. Review of the maximum number of hours is the next item.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes, you're correct.
yeah.
Okay, so we're going back to 4. Is the review of the maximum number of theory hours a student can complete via distance learning, possible discussion and possible action. And this is during the December 7th, 2020 board meeting. The board voted to allow remote theory hours until the state of emergency was lifted or the pandemic was over. The board clarified that while the state of emergency is still in place, schools are allowed to do theory hours via distant education. Once the state of emergency has been lifted, schools will resume to 100% in training. While the board has discussed putting a cap on the maximum amount of theory hours that could be completed via distant education, a vote was never taken on this matter. I would like for the board to take a vote on the matter today. It's a discussion item, but it's a possible action item as well. So board, what happened with December 7, 2020? we voted for us to, the state to allow, the cosmetology board to allow distant learning to continue until the pandemic was over or until the state of emergency has been lifted. I would like for us to look at capping the amount of hours a student could actually earn for theory hours. And I'm going to tell you some of my reasoning for this. Well, I did a little research, and actually we're not under a state of an emergency. We're under a mask mandate. So what we need to do is make sure that students are not completing the majority or half of their hours online. There should be a cap on the theory hours that the students are completing. I was actually in California last week, and the state of emergency for distant learning has been lifted. So what we need to do in our state is we need to consider if we are going to continue with the distant learning. And if we are going to continue with the distant learning, we need to look at how many hours a student will be able to. Is it the students that possibly contact COVID? They could do distant learning. That's an option. They can do distant learning from home. Or is it, or what we just, I need some guidance here, because we need to seriously take a look at this.
Madam President, this is Kai Stanton. Yes, I do believe we need to take a vote on certain hours percentages. I thought that was clarified already. I guess it hasn't been. So we do need to take a vote regarding that percentage. However, my question is, and I don't even know if that should be towards you staff or what have you. Why are we still moving like we're in a state of emergency? That should already be stopped. As soon as there was a mandate, which is two different definitions, that should already have a letter should have already been received that we resume back to normal process. So if if we're still, I just need to clarify, are schools still doing online? Because that was very clear, state of emergency only. And that is also I'm not sure, but it might create some issues regarding maybe other requirements elsewhere where we don't even have an online program permanently. And if that's the case and we're no longer in a state of emergency, we're in a mandate, how are schools functioning on that alone? Because that is law. It is posted on the governor's website.
Chairman Bravo?
Can we answer that, Director Landry or Attorney General Justin?
Yes. My understanding is that we are still in a state of emergency. The governor has not lifted it, and we're going to remain in a state of emergency until something's done with the COVID virus, because we're still, going through these, have version E, version B, version C, all these different versions of the virus are still going on. We can take action today on putting a cap while we're in this state of emergency, and then when the state of emergency is taken away, then there's no more distance learning. We'll then take up distance learning at the next meeting, where you'll talk about what do you want for distance learning, how much do you want to have available for the students, and for how much training can be done on distance learning. But this particular item, number 5, is to address distance learning today under the state of emergency, which we're still under, and it sets the maximum number of hours. I asked Deputy Attorney General Justin Turek, and he says he wasn't sure if we were under a state of emergency, but he was going to check it out and make sure that we are still in their state of emergency. I've not heard anything from the governor's office saying that we've lifted the state of emergency. We don't have that anymore. I've not heard anything from the governor's office on that.
Right, and members, Madam Chair, sorry, this is Justin for the record. So I just actually looked on the governor's website, and I was looking at the Declaration of Emergency Directive 050, which Governor Sisolak entered in on September 2, 2021. The first declaration was on March 12, whereas on March 12, 2020, I, Steve Sisolak, Governor of the State of Nevada, issued a declaration of emergency to facilitate the state's response to the COVID-19 pandemic. To be honest with you, I haven't seen a declaration that says that he's, I guess, revoked or taken away that declaration of emergency yet for the state.
I could send you, Attorney General, we can vote today, but I can send you where it's under a mask mandate. I can send that to you. I mean, a mask mandate to me, when surrounding states are no longer using distant learning at a high percentage like we're doing, I think we need to be, we're more of a trendsetter. I think we need to be more comparable with the other surrounding states. So I would like the board today to take a vote on the hours that can be utilized for distance learning. So how many hours a student receives a week in theory? Just a regular hour. Is the regular hour theory a 5 hour, 6 hour a week theory?
Madam President, what is current right now? Because I thought that's what they were doing already. So what is?
No, they're doing, students are getting 30, 40 hours or more a month in theory for distant learning. I've been informed.
Oh.
They're doing
Okay.
a lot of half of their training just about online. That has to, we have to vote today on how many hours a student can receive, can say stay home and receive for theory. Is theory 5 hours a week? If theory is 5 hours a week, then they get 20 hours a month.
Well, it should be 5 hours. It should be an hour per 8 hours, something like that. So it should be 5 hours per week. That's what you get anyway, correct? Isn't that normal? Or clarify? I'm not sure, but 5 hours a week to me seems like it's suitable. I think you have to have an hour of theory per 8 hours, if I'm not mistaken.
That's what the law states.
Okay.
So I would like for us to make a motion on how many hours that we're going to cap that a student, and until the governor lifts the state of an emergency, until the deputy director finds out if we're still under a state of an emergency or a mask mandate. I would like to get that information back to the board, please.
I'd like to make a motion to have, is that 6 hours offered a week. That's including 6 days in case some of the schools are open Monday through Saturday. 6 hours a week offered for theory hours.
Can I get a second?
Brian Baltazar, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, so just to get clear what the board has voted on, that's 6 hours a week, 24 hours a month, 4 weeks in a month. And that's the maximum amount of distance learning that a student can do, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
Before we close that, Madam President, I just want to clarify, we are going to have those definitions, the mandate and emergency. I did review the apologize, that's not my statement. My statement is just
I'm sorry, Member Stanton, you're breaking in and out.
You're breaking up.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're going to receive the information mandate versus state of emergency, or if the mandate is a description of state of emergency, correct? Okay.
Can we get clarification, Deputy Director? I'm sorry, Deputy AG.
Board members, yeah, so I will actually research that for you, Madam Chair. If you could send me what you've received as far as the mask mandate, so I can review it. I can send clarification to his Executive Director Landry,
right,
and he can disseminate it to you guys.
Okay, I can forward it to you what I have.
Okay, and then I will draft up a memo for you guys that you guys can review.
Thank you, because I saw the same thing. It is a little confusing. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Can we go now to Director Landry's Executive Director's Report?
Yes, we can. The Executive Director's Report for the months for everything from July, August, and September. We delivered 1,025 tests, maintained efficient operations with the computerized scheduling services. We renewed 3,881 licenses. We issued 834 initial or new licenses. We have a report attached with the names of the people involved. And maintained efficient licensing services. Investigated more than 288 consumer complaints since the last scheduled quarterly meeting, and investigated board's remaining licensing fraud cases for the ALJ board discipline. Our customer service went off in the month of July to 86%, came back strong in August at 98%, and fell again in September to 88%. But we still, everything above 75% is considered good. We normally range in the 90 to 98% range. The 2021 annual audit was completed and had no major discrepancies. That's later in the report. You'll see we have an audit discussion, and continued efforts to streamline the back office systems and reduce inefficiencies in workflow processes across all departments. So in summary, the last 3 months have been done. We've been doing very well on all areas of the business and keeping things efficient and effective. So if the board has any questions, you can ask me. I'll be willing to answer any of those. And your vote today, I want to remind everyone, it's not only accepting the executive director's report, but accepting all the proposed licenses that were issued over the last 3 months.
We got a lot of new licensees. That's great.
Yep, very good.
Wow, awesome. So when you say that the customer service went from August to what was the, I mean, are you talking about customer service inside the board staff office?
Yes, when people leave the office, we have the station that lets them rate us from excellent to poor, and we typically get excellent ratings all the way across. 86% of the people who were leaving in the month of July said that we were excellent. In August, that went up to 98%, and in September went down to 88%. So right around 90% to 98% is where we normally range. We range just a tad lower in July than our normal range. So that was some cause for concern, but we quickly made it up in August. I think it really depends on, did you have a good experience with the board when you went in, or did you have a bad experience with the board?
And we know what those experiences are. We've identified them.
Right.
The areas where we can improve, right?
Yep.
Okay, sounds good. Can I get a motion to accept the executive director's report in the state licensing with new licensees?
Madam President, this is Kai Stanton. I'd like to make a motion to accept the director's report.
Board Member Harris, I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The monthly financial report from Andrew.
Andrew Helms, Chief Financial Officer. So agenda item number 7, the monthly financial reports, and agenda item number 8, the review and approval of the board's audit findings. They're actually going to be combined. The monthly financial reports for this board meeting are included in those board audit findings. And so for agenda number 8, please report there's no evidence of fraud, misrepresentation, or misuse of public funds during the Nevada State Board of Cosmetology 2020 to 2021 fiscal audit performed by Holdsworth Research Company. The audit recommendations focus primarily on improving financial statement representation by keeping in compliance with new proclamations brought forth by the Governmental Accounting Standards Board. At this time, I can answer any other questions regarding the final audit report.
And I just want to make a comment that of all the audits we've received to date, this has been the cleanest one. Andrew's worked very diligently on cleaning up processes and procedures, getting things in place, making sure the right numbers are accounted for. And this has been the cleanest audit we have yet to receive. So I want to congratulate Andrew on a great job.
Good job. Congratulations, Andrew.
Absolutely. Great job. Absolutely.
Thank you.
I would like the board to make a motion to approve and accept the audit financial statements and the audit report from Andrew.
Madam President, this is Kai Stanton. I'd like to make a motion to approve the audit and financial statements given.
Board Member Harris, I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we're towards the end of our meeting. The board will entertain comments from the general public, comments that's not related or related to the public agenda. No action can be taken on the matter unless it's included in the agenda. Comment should be limited to 3 minutes. Do we have any comments from the general public? Any comments from the general public?
Madam President, this is Gary Landry, Executive Director. I just wanted to make one comment before we move on, that we are going to have a school meeting tomorrow, and just wanted to let the school members who are attending today's meeting, let them know that we'll have we'll have an agenda, and we'll send out the information on the curriculum for the advanced estheticians, the equipment necessary as a discussion point, so that you'll have that in an email sometime this afternoon.
Thank you, Director Landry.
And this is Matt Brenton from National Institute of Modern Aesthetics, if I could make a quick comment.
Yes, hi, Matt.
Hello, I just wanted to follow up on the online education discussion. We would love to see the state of Nevada permanently approve online education and in a more substantial way, allowing institutions to provide up to 50% of curriculum, theory only, of course, online. Many states are doing this now. This is becoming more and more popular, obviously, in all areas of education. For example, you can get even a physician assistant's license through online programs these days, nurse practitioners. No reason we shouldn't have this in cosmetology. I know in other states where we operate, we've been successfully providing online education for an advanced esthetician license since 2015. There are many, many great online tools that's very popular with students, especially for busy working women, mothers who need the flexibility, cuts down on travel time, allows more flexibility, control, and method of education. Students can pause, go back, review, versus sitting in a classroom setting where it's sometimes hard to get that kind of attention. So it's wildly popular. Our online courses are very popular, and even the Department of Education itself is highly supportive of online education. They have a meta-analysis they've put out that even shows that a blended education, that's when I say hybrid is blended, where you're blending in person with online, is a superior form of education. Test results are higher. And so the Department of Education is highly supportive of it, and therefore NACIS, which is the accrediting commission for most of the schools in this space, is supportive of it. And NACIS will support these programs as long as certain guidelines are followed that kind of protect the integrity of the program. And we can go over these at another time. I just want to put a plug in for this, but there are plenty of guidelines to really support schools who want to implement online programs. For example, requiring any tests or assessments that factor into the GPA to be performed on site to alleviate issues with cheating. The student has to be on site at least once every 10 days. So you can't push all the theory in the front of the program and have them come at the back end for their practical. It's got to be blended and mixed throughout the duration of their schooling. All kinds of good guidelines. Again, a lot of states have approved this permanently. It's being successfully implemented in a lot of other states, and we would love to see Nevada implement this as well, make this a permanent feature. Thank you.
Thank you. You know, Matt, I do appreciate you in your comment. And I like distant learning. I mean, we use an online curriculum in our institution as well. But I think that it's a discussion, and it has to be certain particulars that needs to be put in place, because if not, then when the board is making a decision, the board has to make a decision for not just like one or two institutions or a couple institutions that have the systems in place. We have to make it overall, because once it becomes a law, then it's any institution that wants to offer it can offer it, and we just have to put some certain guidelines and particulars in place. I mean, I don't see a problem like today we even approved to continue on with some theory hours, but there has to be, there's nothing in place when we actually it was a state of an emergency. We were under a disaster, pandemic, the whole world. And we put something in place to take care of that like a Band-Aid. But now we have to move forward and take off the layers, and the particulars have to be set in stone, or it's just going to be a disaster. Some states are, because I'm a part of the ACT state relations, I sit in those meetings as well every month. And there's some states that's utilizing distance learning permanently, and then there's a lot of states that just not. And I understand both sides to it. I really, really do. I know there's the working families and the parents, they have the small children. It's easier for them to learn at home than to have to get babysitters and do all this. But at the end of the day, we want to make sure be able to measure the success. And I think that's where we're at right now. We're just in the process of trying to measure the success, like the students that did distant learning during this disaster period. How many of them successfully passed their exam? How many of them taken it 4 or 5 times? How many of them, we're seeing a high rate of students that they're desperately trying to pass the exam, and that's from all institutions. So, not just one in particular. So I totally agree. But I think it's a great, conversation moving forward. It's up to the schools. I know the accreditation does have certain standards. You have to be accredited for it, which is good. It's out of our hands. But for far as the state, our state and our state board, we have to just finish the measurement process to it. So thank you for your comment.
Yeah, thank you. We do acknowledge and appreciate the board's attention to this and for allowing, online hybrid education through the pandemic. And yeah, I appreciate your comments. We just love to see this as a substantive discussion about substantive number of hours to allow programs to roll forward with this into the future as we get out of the pandemic. So thank you so much.
Yes. Okay, you're welcome. Any other comments any other comments from the board? I mean, we didn't have anything here to say. Any other comments for board members? Do you have any comments or anything that any board member want on possible next agenda?
On the next agenda, I would like to talk about the training for board members moving forward regarding NACs, NRSs, implementation, open law meeting. It's only about 91 pages.
Board member Stanton, your phone, your computer is going in and out.
Is that better?
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Can you repeat that, please?
Yes, I believe on the next meeting, just to have on record regarding the visual, we should see a nice small proposal about the visual regarding Attorney General open law meeting for training for state board members, as well as the difference between NAC and NRS. So we'll be able to see how that's developing as well on the next round meeting.
So, Madam Chair, may I ask you a question?
Yes.
Sorry, Member Sanders, this is Justin. So did you want, or I guess board members, Madam Chair, do you want me to prepare the training again for next meeting, or is that something that you just want me to throw out some?
No, just we were talking about a video for training regarding for just to have for state board members only, and then they can read that accordingly. We did a discussion on that several times a few meetings ago, Leah was going to prepare something amazing this round, but we were extremely overwhelmed on this meeting. So we should be able to see that proposal together. I'm not sure what she would like for you to present on that part, but if you can do that or have something ready for her, she already has enough on the plate, to be honest with you. So there is a lot that you can get with her about in details with that.
Okay, sounds good. I will then reach out with Ms. Easter to see if she needs my input on anything. The other thing that I would like to also let the board know is that the AG's office, I believe next week, is holding some training on open meeting law, administrative rulemaking, ethics. Those I believe will be recorded and be posted sometime on our website.
Can you send us that link, please, Justin?
Yes, I love that.
Okay, yeah, I'll look into it to make sure that that's something that board members are able to attend, but I know that for a fact that those trainings will be recorded and put onto the website subsequently. So there are trainings from 2019, I believe, that are on our website. I'll forward the link over to Executive Director Landry. Most of the information should still be the same. There's some stuff that came out of this year's legislative session, just stuff like how we're able to do virtual learning, virtual meetings, all virtual meetings now. Some of that stuff has changed, so I can definitely send that link though over to Executive Director Landry, so that way you guys have that information too.
That'd be great. I'm extremely interested on that as well. Absolutely.
I think that's it. Any other questions or comments from the general public, board members, staff, any other comments, or we're good?
I have something, Madam President. I'd like to, if possible, for the next meeting, the schools are going to meet tomorrow to discuss advanced aesthetics. I want to just confirm that. With that out of the way, the next meeting, I think it would be great to resume the outline for a town hall. And I also wanted to have it for possible action to agree on how this will be delivered to the licensees, what the best method to deliver this would be, using what platform. So I would like to get that on the agenda to finalize the details of the town hall to include how it will be delivered. That's it.
Okay, board member McCormick, after the schools meet, then I'll be calling an emergency board meeting. So maybe at that time, we can just put your information on the agenda?
Sure, an emergency board meeting
to approve the equipment and you know, the discussion for tomorrow.
Okay, so we're gonna discuss it at the end of the emergency.
Well, it has to be voted on, so we can possibly, Director Landry, we can possibly add that. Could we possibly add how the information is gonna roll out to the public and the licensed estheticians already?
Yeah.
Yes, we can put that on the agenda.
Yeah, we can just do it all at the same time.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Because we have to figure out how they're gonna get the information.
That's right. Yeah. Thank you, Madam President. That's all. I just want to make sure that we keep moving forward to getting that town hall complete and figure out how we're going to get it out to the license.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, not a problem. Okay, since we're all, no more comments or questions, I would like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Madam President, this is Kai Stanton. I'd like to make a motion to close meeting October 11th, 2021 for the Nevada State Board of Cosmetology.
Board Member Harris, I would like to second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, bye. Have a good day.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.